let's get started on, first and foremost, the massive Ukrainian attacks that took place, and then we'll cover. Wait, hold on. There was a fan cam that you wanted me to react to. Let's start with that. Oops, I accidentally clicked on this. What is this? I only call my haters broke. Everybody else is just a victim of capitalism. Yeah. That's true. Only my haters are broke. Everyone else is just a victim of capitalism. My haters are victims of capitalism too, but it's good that they're victims of capitalism, if you know what I'm saying. All right. That's right. Are you using a channel strip or a VST? Please, my family is starving. I don't know what any of those words mean, man. You're crazy. You're crazy. Stop now. Stop it. We're going to be talking about Mahmoud Khalil in a second. Before we get started, before we talk about that, obviously, because that's an ongoing situation, of course. Let's talk about Ukraine. Let's talk about Donald Trump and Tim Pool's favorite country. Ukraine is an enemy of mankind. It is kind of crazy how the guy who was openly paid by the Russian government to do anti-Ukrainian propaganda and his statements are now being echoed by the current president. What do I mean by this? We made fun of Tim Pool slamming the table and saying Ukraine is an enemy of mankind so many times over. We made fun of Tim Pool, who was paid, by the way, from the Russian government to say these things. We made fun of Tim Pool saying you have to apologize to Russia. He said Zelensky has to apologize to Russia for just kind of looking sexy, kind of looking like they wanted to be invaded. And now we are unironically living in a reality where Trump is demanding that as well. Like, that's where we're at. We are officially at the stage where Donald Trump, the president, is repeating the statements coming from the baldest political commentator who was paid by the Russian government. Wild set of circumstances. Real wild stuff. Anyway, what is Ukraine doing in the process as they are stuck between a rock and a hard place, as the American side basically demands more from Ukraine, demands more extraction from Ukraine? Well, they're trying to hit back to the best of their ability. They hit Moscow with a massive Ukrainian drone attack. Let's take a look.
Massive Ukrainian drone strike on the Russian capital overnight. According to Russian state media, defense forces intercepted more than 300 drones fired at Russia, with 91 of them specifically targeting the Moscow region. Officials say one person was killed and several others wounded. The attack unfolded just hours before.
I'm not exactly a fan of any nation hitting back against targets, some of which are around civilian areas. But, what are these guys supposed to do at this point? I want Donald Trump to actually put together a ceasefire. That's what I want. And apparently it might happen. But it's just crazy to me that Donald Trump's actions out and about, consistently talking about how, Zell Disney ain't shit. He's a dictator. He's the reason why Vladimir Putin invaded Russia. All this stuff is most likely agitating Ukrainians, is probably contributing to a ceasefire not happening. This is what's frustrating to me about the Trump commentary on this.
For critical talks between the US and Ukraine on ending the war with Russia. That meeting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, is set to begin in less than 2 hours. And it comes less than 2 weeks after the last US-Ukraine meeting at the White House ended quite badly. This time, Volodymyr Zelensky is not expected to take part in the actual talks with the US, but the Ukrainian president is in Saudi Arabia meeting with the Crown Prince. The top American diplomat says he wants to know what concessions Ukraine would be willing to make, adding that these talks will be key in determining whether the US will lift its pause on military aid and intelligence sharing. CNN's Claire Sebastian's following all of these developments, joins me here now in London. Claire, let's get to that massive drone attack we saw images of there in Moscow overnight. I guess the timing of this, unlikely to have been a coincidence with these talks set to get underway in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, Christina, look, we haven't officially heard anything from Ukraine.
What about Russian concessions? I don't know what the Russian concessions are going to look like. But I am not very confident that there will be any Russian concessions, considering how Trump has talked about this issue.
This is ending this war once and for all.
Because the reality of the matter is Donald Trump is like openly in broad daylight saying a whole bunch of stuff that is pro-Russia, okay, in a way that I think undercuts a potential ceasefire negotiation. I think he's bullying Zelensky far too much. I think he's undermining his own side in this process far too much. That's it. Like that is the reason why I have no confidence whatsoever in the Trump administration actually giving anything to the Ukrainian side that will make the Ukrainians feel like all of the dead were worth something, you know? And I think that has to happen. That has to happen because it is the moral thing to do. That also has to happen because that is important for stability. And yet, do I have any confidence that Donald Trump will do anything like that? Absolutely not. I don't. Let's continue.
On this very large barrage of drones, some 337 in total shot down in various different regions, 91 over the Moscow region, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Ukraine hasn't said anything, but I think, as you say, timing is hardly coincidental coming ahead of these critical talks in Saudi Arabia. It was a fairly disruptive, not to mention destructive attack, one death. It's pretty rare to see deaths from Ukrainian drone attacks as far away from the Ukrainian border as this. I think there's only ever been one other in Moscow, and that was last September. So definitely noteworthy disruption as well, with airport closures and delays to flights there. And I think this is potentially, from Ukraine, a way of sending a message. Their long-range drone program is something that has been homegrown, that has proven extremely effective in this war in terms of hitting Russian military sites, energy infrastructure, and of course, on several occasions, the capital itself, again, far beyond.
There is something also interesting about this, where even when they talk about Russian targets, like although Russia is the foreign adversary here, mainstream media, when they talk about Russian targets, they still use different words than the way they would use when talking about Gaza. I do think that that is like underlying white supremacy for sure. Because like Russians are the bad guys, right? They present the Russians as the bad guys. They present the Russians as like asking for it, deserving of retaliation. And to a certain degree, I understand why like Ukraine would do everything in its power to try to make this invasion costly. In the exact same ways that I understand why the Palestinian population that has been held captive for 75 years, 76 years of occupation will try to make that occupation costly. What's interesting, however, is that even when the Ukrainian retaliation is being talked about, and they talk about like Russian casualties in the process, they still recognize the humanity of Russians in a way where you rarely ever hear that recognition when it's Israel blowing up entire blocks of their captive civilian population in Gaza. Just something that I've noticed. Like, we don't extend grace to, we don't extend the same grace to victims of our foreign adversaries as we do to Ukraine. We do not extend that to people in Gaza, but we don't even extend the level of grace that we offer to our foreign adversaries who are experiencing retaliatory attacks in comparison to the civilian population of Gaza. It is wild to see.
The border, they claim, as of now, according to the Defense Ministry, to be the world's largest producer of tactical and strategic drones. So this is, to quote the US president, a card potentially that they can play in this war and in peace talks. And as I said, this is happening on this extremely critical day diplomatically. In terms of what these talks in Saudi Arabia today could bring in terms of a path to peace, I think the expectations have been lowered somewhat by the US side ahead of this. Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, saying that this is really more of an exploratory meeting, that the US will be in listening mode, he said, and they're really just trying to figure out which concessions Ukraine will be willing to make, which they will then present to Russia. Incidentally, a source familiar with the matter has told CNN that Steve Witkoff, Trump's Middle East envoy, is expected in Russia later this week. We don't know as of yet who he will be meeting with. But in terms of this meeting today in Saudi Arabia, I think the first job for Ukraine is to repair the damage from that Oval Office meeting less than 2 weeks ago. Marco Rubio saying that potentially there could be a deliverable there when it comes to unpausing U.S. aid. He said the meeting will be key, and if they come out and, quote, feel good about that, then potentially decisions would be made on that front. So it's a little nebulous what Ukraine is supposed to do, but I think the suggestion there is that they will have to continue.
Why is Saudi Arabia the mediator here? Because they're an oil giant. I mean, there's a couple different reasons. Because they are the main beneficiary party of OPEC Plus, which Russia is also a part of. So they have some level of influence over Russia because of the financial ties that they have. They also are looking to be in the good graces of the Western world. They actively do this with the sports washing that we've talked about. But beyond sports washing, I think that they want to become a more important player in the region, like a geopolitical player. And Trump will gladly give that to them. Trump is a massive fan, of course. As you guys know, he's a massive fan of Saudi Arabia. He loves the money that they have. So I think those are some of the reasons as to why Saudi Arabia is at the table. I mean, obviously, they will never come close to my GOAT, Erdogan, right? Erdogan is the table. He's at the table. He is the table. Make no mistake. Saudi Arabia is just trying to be like Qatar. They can't even be, but they'll never be like Turkey.
Continue with the sort of charm offensive as they try to repair that relationship and restore U.S. aid.
Breaking this morning, Russia accuses Ukraine of launching a massive drone attack on Moscow. Explosions seen rocking the city overnight. In all, Russia says more than 300 drones were fired, nearly 100 targeting Moscow, and 2 people were killed. In Ukraine, more than 30 people have been killed since last Friday. The war raging on as the possible peace talks finally resume. CNN's Elena Trina is standing by for us at the White House. Let's first go to Alex Marquardt in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia for the latest from there. What are you hearing? What is the latest, Alex?
Well, Kate, this meeting has been underway for almost 2 hours now here at the Ritz-Carlton in Jeddah. They are behind closed doors. We have seen that video of the 2 delegations at that long table with Saudi officials at the head, Rubio and Waltz on one side across from the Ukrainian delegation led by the Zelensky Chief of Staff, Andriy Yermak. The vibe from both sides is quite good after a week and a half of really tumultuous relations. But coming into this meeting, Secretary Rubio said that he is hopeful that it will go well, but it's clear that he wants to hear something from the Ukrainian side. He said that they are in listening mode. They want to hear what concessions the Ukrainians might be willing to give in order to achieve some kind of peace deal with the Russians.
Luckily, Donald Trump is not there, so they can actually have a normal conversation. And Marco Rubio can play the role that he's supposed to be playing, which is like, you know, a normal war hawk politician that will go along with whatever the American State Department's true vision is for Ukraine, rather than have someone like Donald Trump actively throw Molotov cocktails in any sort of conversation for pure narcissistic desires that he has.
Now, a few of us reporters spoke with Andriy Yermak, Zelensky's chief of staff, ahead of this meeting. He declined to say what concessions specifically they could offer, but here's a little bit of what he did say.
We think it's necessary to discuss the most important how to start this process, and we're very open. And we want to have very constructive, deep, friend partners conversation with our American partners.
So the priority, Yermak is saying, is jump-starting this process. Kate, we should note the U.S. has not specified what concessions they are expecting the Russians to give. You talked about the military and intelligence aid that has been halted for Ukraine. Rubio is saying that this meeting is key to essentially getting that turned back on. And then we have this massive Ukrainian strike against Russia overnight, perhaps one of the biggest carried out by drones since this war began. More than 300 drones fired at Russia, certainly coming at a very symbolic time. Presumably, Kate, whatever comes out of this meeting between the U.S. and Ukraine will be communicated to the Russians as the U.S. tries to bring Ukraine and Russia closer together. And we have just learned late last night that Steve Witkoff, who is the Middle East envoy but very much involved in these talks, should be going to Russia later this week and could be meeting with Vladimir Putin. Kate?
Yeah, I mean, really, what you're encapsulating perfectly is just how critical this week may shape up to be when it comes to trying to find a peaceful end to this war. Alex, thank you so much. Alex is going to be standing by a lot to come out of Jeddah, but let's get over to the White House now. Elena Treen, as I mentioned, is standing by. Elena, what are you hearing from there this morning about all of this?
Well, look, Kate, I think this meeting today is as much about trying to get the relations between the United States and Ukraine back on track after that, acrimonious Oval Office meeting about a week and a half ago now, as it is about trying to find really an off-ramp to this war and beginning in earnest the peace talks with Ukraine and Russia to find an end to this. But look, when I talk to White House officials, Trump administration officials, repeatedly what comes up in my conversations is they want specifics from the Ukrainians and Zelensky about what they are willing, as Alex laid out, to concede on. And that's really going to be, I think, a crucial part of this meeting today. When I spoke with one White House official, they told me that they're looking for Ukraine to commit to what they characterized as, quote, concrete deliverables for this peace process. And I've also spoke about this directly with National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. He has repeatedly said he needs to see some real specific action, specific things laid out by the Ukrainians for them to feel comfortable moving forward. Now, one thing just to keep in mind as well is just how fragile the relationship between President Donald Trump and Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, is at this moment. Yes, we know that the president and many White House officials felt they were happy with that letter that Zelensky sent the president last week, where he kind of laid out all of the things that they were looking for following that disastrous Oval Office meeting. But the president is still very wary of Zelensky. Just this weekend, he argued again that he believes Zelensky is not grateful for aid to the United States. So all of that kind of playing out in the background of this meeting. But again, I think so much of this is really trying to get them back on track of the relations as much as it is really trying to move forward with peace talks. Kate?
Absolutely, Elena. Thank you so much. Just as the war rages on, thank you very much. Elena Treen is going to watch this closely from the White House for us.
The insistence on the U.S. requesting concrete concessions is so sus, especially considering how the U.S. is posturing against Ukraine. I mean, I think that the demands being made from the Ukrainian side for concrete concessions is understandable. That happens for both sides. The fact that it's publicly being made and never actually presented as like concessions from the Russian side, that part is worrisome. I think that in and of itself shows where their actual goals are, like what their actual goals are. And their goals seemingly is to just get Ukraine to say, shut the fuck up, eat it. You're going to get nothing. You're going to get nothing out of this. Ukraine's presidential office. But then again, I don't know, because what the Trump administration says and what the Trump administration does are two entirely different things. And it's fairly frequently like they will say, we're going to do tariffs. Then they'll say, we're not going to do tariffs. They'll say, we're going to do mass layoffs. Then they will be like, oopsie, we're not doing mass layoffs. You know what I mean? So even with Ukraine, while Donald Trump has actively positioned himself as like a guy who is definitely on Vladimir Putin's side on this process, on this bargain, there are obviously going to be contradictory statements that he makes, because that's what he does. That's just how Trump is. But there's also the conflicting interests from the State Department, the conflicting interests from capital owners that have to be factored into this equation. Having said that, the reason why I can't tell you honestly where this is going to go is because, like I said with Vladimir Putin, Trump is an actor that is sometimes very unpredictable. He's just unpredictable. He just says shit and then does the opposite. You know what I mean? I'm an NMP law viewer. Fuck Hassan. I'm leaving. Wait, what? What? Why? All right. Here's some details since that video came out. Obviously, Ukraine has accepted a U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire. There's a Rubio-Waltz news conference taking place. This is coming out of Jeddah. Ukraine has agreed to accept a U.S. proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire and to take steps restoring a durable peace after Russia's invasion, according to a joint U.S.-Ukraine statement on Tuesday. The two sides, meeting in Saudi Arabia, also agreed to conclude as soon as possible a comprehensive agreement for developing Ukraine's critical mineral resources. So that was a brief blip that came out. And in that, hold on, there was also this. Ukraine also said that Russia has to agree first. So I'm going to show you what the Russian demands are, and I'll show you what the Ukrainians said as well. Ukraine's presidential office, according to Jackie Heinrich, who is the senior White House correspondent for Fox News, says the Ukraine's presidential office presenting this as a joint statement following talks with the U.S. delegation, which featured, of course, Marco Rubio, Waltz, and also, who can forget, Goatkov, my goat. Two notable points that they made were the United States will immediately lift the pause on intelligence sharing and resume security assistance to Ukraine. Both countries' presidents agreed to conclude as soon as possible a comprehensive agreement for developing Ukraine's critical mineral resources to expand Ukraine's economy, offset the cost of American assistance, and guarantee Ukraine's long-term prosperity and security. So basically, it's what they said, that they were going to get out of the situation. But after a little bit of attrition, it seems like the Trump administration is, forcing Ukraine's hand, predictably, as of course they were inevitably going to do. How do we know that they were inevitably going to do that? Well, we know that they were inevitably going to do that because Trump is right when he says we hold all the cards. Technically, he is right. He shouldn't be saying it like that, but it is correct. Majority Report, thank you for the raid. Did Majority Report just raid me? Is that what's happening? Why is someone saying Emily Ratajkowski is a Hasanabi head? Anyway, hope you had a good stream, Majority Reporters. I was talking to Uncle Sam earlier about his debate. Anyway, the Ukrainian delegation reiterated the Ukrainian people's strong gratitude to President Trump and the U.S. Congress and the people of the United States for making possible meaningful progress towards peace. Ukraine expressed readiness to accept the U.S. proposal to enact an immediate interim 30-day ceasefire, which can be extended by mutual agreement of the parties and which is subject to acceptance and concurrent implementation by the Russian Federation. The United States will communicate to Russia, and Russian reciprocity is the key to achieving peace. Let's take a look at the conversation that took place now, and then I'll give you Russian demands as well.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball's now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
Well, just to add to the Secretary's comments, the Ukrainian delegation today made something very clear, that they share President Trump's vision for peace. They share his determination to end the fighting, to end the killing, to end the tragic kind of meat grinder of people and national treasure that's happening on the front in
Shonda Black, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream.
In
Let's
Ukraine.
Go.
Number one. Number two, they made concrete steps and concrete proposals, not only accepting our proposal for a full...
This messaging is so much different than Trump and Vance. It's a bit jarring. It's not. The reason why, I get why you are confused, because Donald Trump is like so insane in comparison to these guys. But what these guys say is more important. That's why when Marco Rubio came out on Caitlin Collins in the immediate aftermath of the Ukrainian talks collapsing after Donald Trump and J.D. Vance did the pettiest thing possible, I told you over and over again, what matters is what Marco Rubio says. Not because he has a lot of power or a lot of influence in the room. I think Donald Trump still has all this influence, but Marco Rubio will defend Donald Trump's posturing. He will change his messaging to defend Donald Trump's posturing. But at the end of the day, the reasonable heads will dictate the foreign policy. And if you recall, when we watch Marco Rubio talk about the Ukrainian negotiations, where it's at, where it's going to possibly go, I remember telling you, it's most likely still going to stay the course. And it's obvious that it is staying the course in terms of like establishing a mineral deal and like, and doing the bidding of the State Department, whatever they have made, whatever assessments they have made, rather than just enforcing petty grievances upon our proxy in this process.
Ceasefire, which you can see the details of which are in our joint statement that we released together. But we also got into substantive details on how this war is going to permanently end, what type of guarantees they're going to have for their long-term security. And
this is so funny. What? U.S. Secretary of State Rubio, I can assure you this, we will not be providing military aid to the Russians. Wait, what? No, there's no way this is real, man. Get out of here. I don't believe that did he actually say that? That's such a weird thing to say. Did he actually say that? If he did, why did he say that? That was something I joked about. That was something I joked about yesterday or the day prior, where I was like, remember with Noah, I was talking with Noah about this, where I was like, they're gonna help Russia invade Ukraine harder. And Mark was like, we're not doing that. We're not, please. We are doing that. We actually are doing that, but there's good reason for it.
prosperity, but also really looking at what it's going to take to finally end this, the horrific fighting. The other piece that I just want to make very clear is President Trump started this diplomatic effort in the Oval Office, talking to both leaders, both President Putin and President Zelensky back to back. And now
it's so funny. So much of these, so much of the statements that department heads have to do is just like glazing Trump for no reason. They just have to do it. Like this could be a 30-second statement, but the only reason why it's 11 minutes long is because for 10 minutes and 30 seconds they have to talk about how great Donald Trump is for yelling at Zelensky and how wonderful it's been, how wonderful it's been that that the Trump administration has been actively undermining our proxies in this conversation, the wronged party that was invaded by a foreign adversary. That's just, there's like 20% meat, the rest of it is all bone. Okay.
Now that shuttle diplomacy continues. We have a named delegation in terms of next steps from the Russian side. We have a named delegation.
Donald Trump is like, we need to do a mineral deal immediately so we can start putting tariffs on Ukraine. I love tariffs. Tariffs are my favorite. There's nothing I like more than tariffs. Tariffs to Ukraine.
In terms of next steps from the Ukrainian side, I will talk.
Donald Trump wants to ease sanctions on Russia so they can tariff Russia.
To my Russian counterpart in the coming days. Secretary Rubio will be with G7 foreign ministers in the next couple of days. We have the NATO Secretary General in the White House on Thursday, and we'll take the process forward from there. So, as a result of that, and I think as a result of this positive step forward, the president has decided to lift the pause on aid. And on our security assistance to Ukraine going forward. And that's effective immediately.
All right, your colleagues have chosen 3 questioners. Let's start with Alex Marquardt of CNN.
Thank you. Several questions on the ceasefire. We understood that coming into this was a Ukrainian proposal for a partial ceasefire. How did this become an American proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire? And to be clear, you're talking about a complete ceasefire across the front line, not just the aerial and maritime ceasefire that the Ukrainians proposed. And then finally, how do you expect to take this to the Russians? Is it Mr. Witkoff, who we understand is heading to Moscow later this week? Will he deliver that to Putin? Will it be President Trump to President Putin? Will it be you and your counterparts? How will that actually happen and when?
Well, on the first point, your question is yes. That's the offer. The offer is to stop the shooting. The goal here is The only way out to end this war is to negotiate out of it. There's no military solution to this war. The solution to this war and the way to end it and to achieve the president's objective of peace is to negotiate. But before you can negotiate, you have to stop shooting at each other. And that's what the president has wanted to see, and that's the commitment we got today from the Ukrainian side, their willingness to do that. Obviously, now that'll be delivered to the Russians. It'll be delivered to them directly through multiple channels, meaning not only...
Now he's quoting you, Rubio's a Hasanabi head? Yeah. Marco Rubio is a famous Hasanabi head and also a Russian op, just like me.
Well, they obviously see it. We've already, it'll be communicated to them through our diplomatic channels, through conversations and other methods, but they'll obviously be well aware. And our hope is that the Russians will say yes, that they will also agree. So the shooting will stop, the killing will stop, the dying will stop, and the talks can begin about how to end this war permanently in a way that's acceptable and enduring for both sides.
Look, there's been all kinds of discussions in terms of different types of ceasefires. You know, there was the deal in terms of grain moving years ago. There's been discussion of halting aerial attacks on each other's infrastructure. The president has made it clear and certainly made it clear to us that all fighting needs to stop. And the Ukrainians have agreed to that proposal. They're ready for peace. And now we'll take that to the Russians and get their response.
All right, next, Jennifer Jacobs, CBS.
Great. Hi. Are you expecting any goodwill gestures from Russia? Do you have a deadline in mind for when you're hoping for them to reciprocate on that? Those two things.
Well, we're going to take the offer to them.
What if Russians say no? They already have, but that's a spoiler. I'm slowly but surely going through the story, even though in real time there's updates coming in. No spoilers, okay? We'll get to that in a second.
We're going to tell them this is what's on the table. Ukraine is ready to stop shooting and start talking. And now it'll be up to them to say yes or no. I hope they're going to say yes. And if they do, then I think we made great progress. If they say no, then we'll unfortunately know what the impediment is to peace here. But the president's been abundantly clear. He wants the shooting to stop. He wants the warfare to stop. He wants the dying and the suffering to stop. And he believes, and rightfully so, that the only way to end this war is to negotiate an end to it. And we think that it's always easier to negotiate an end to the war when people aren't shooting at each other. That's how the president believes. That's what we hope to achieve. The Ukrainians today have expressed their willingness and readiness to do so immediately. We hope the Russians' answer to that will also be yes.
But no deadline set, sir.
Well, the deadline is we hope to do this as soon as possible. Every day that goes by that this war continues, people die, people are bombed, people are hurt on both sides of this conflict. The president wanted this war to end yesterday and the day before. The president's been clear he wants peace. And so we wanted to see it as soon as possible. So our hope is that the Russians will answer yes as quickly as possible so we can get to the second phase of this, which is real negotiations, not never-ending dialogue, talk forever, but real negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's acceptable to both sides, sustainable, and that ensures the stability and security of Ukraine for the long term.
And on the goodwill gesture, is there anything like the return of the stolen children or anything that you're expecting in return?
Look, we've discussed a number of things, prisoner exchanges, folks that were detained and what have you, but the fighting has to stop. I mean, that's what we agreed today. And just think about it. We've gone from if the war is going to end to now how the war is going to end, and this was an important first step, and that was under President Trump's leadership. He has literally moved the entire global conversation to where we had a very senior Ukrainian delegation with us today. We've had engagements with our Russian counterparts, and now it's how the war is going to end, and that's under President Trump's leadership.
Just to answer your question.
It's really interesting because I think constantly undermining Ukraine and handing it to Russia and making it seem as though Russia is actually honestly and earnestly trying to pack this stuff up, and it's actually Ukraine that's like forcing this process to fall apart, might actually end up exploding in Trump's face. Because if Russia does stuff like this, where they turn around and say, yeah, no, we're not going to do a ceasefire, how about that? Then Donald Trump looks like an asshole. You feel me? And when you have no way of strong arming the Russian side because they are a foreign adversary, unless you also bring China to the table, for example, you're kind of going to look cooked. The Russian State Duma deputy Sobolev says the U.S. will rearm Ukraine in 30 days of ceasefire and will start the war anew. Russia will not go for it. This is pretty funny, especially because this is literally the argument that the Ukrainian side, or rather people who defend Ukraine, have been making in terms of not doing a ceasefire. It's like, oh, we can't do a ceasefire because Russia will rearm and then pummel us further. And it's like, I've always maintained the position that a ceasefire is good because it allows people to feel safe for even a brief moment. That has been a consistent position that I've maintained. But it's hilarious that the Russian side is now saying that. It's also additionally ridiculous that the Russian side is saying that, considering that the American side is not even like interested in offering intelligence until today. Like, they restarted sharing intelligence with Ukraine. They had stopped it already. It's like obvious that Donald Trump is not interested in giving more. I mean, it's obvious that Donald Trump, at least in the way that he talks about this, is clearly more on Russia's side than any other previous administration. I think the reason why Donald Trump is at least aesthetically presenting himself as like pro-Russia in this process is because if I am to look for logic here, and it's very difficult to find a logical through line in the way that Donald Trump behaves because he is a madman, I would say that he recognizes that the battle lines do not favor Ukraine. They're not necessarily great for Russia either, but obviously Russia has more manpower to throw at the problem. And therefore, he wants to get out of this without hurting his own reputation. So he wants to basically pack up the Ukraine thing as a libtard Democrat thing, right? He wants to say like, no, it was the liberals and the Democrats. Ukraine is a gay, woke, liberal nation. And it's like a Democratic Party project. It's not me. That's why he's like actively trying to present himself as like anti-Ukraine and maybe even come across sometimes as though he is pro-Russia. There's obviously his own personal grievances against Ukrainian leadership. We talked about this before, whether it be obviously like the first impeachment, the perfect phone call that he had where he was looking for blackmail on Joe Biden and that didn't happen and he got impeached over it. He never really let that go. The fact that he also likes authoritarian strongmen and Vladimir Putin certainly fits that bill. These are all additional reasons as to why he is more sympathetic, seemingly, to the Russian side. Having said that, I think ultimately he recognizes that the exit from Ukraine is always going to be bad. It's going to make America look bad because no matter what, any concession to your foreign adversary against your proxy is going to make you look weak. And Donald Trump does not want to look weak, so he's trying to pass the blame off to the liberal administration, making it seem as though he's like, I don't care about this Ukraine stuff. It's not me. I don't care about this. I've never been pro-Ukraine. I'm pro-Putin, actually. It's just those liberals that were pro-Ukraine, and they fucked it up. And that's why there's a loss that the American side incurred here. And I think that's what's going on. That's what I think that's the closest I can arrive at like some logical reason for why Donald Trump comes across as so Putin without broaching Krasnov KGB agent conspiracy theories. Caitlin Collins reports President Trump makes his first comments on the 30-day ceasefire that Ukraine has just agreed to following his talks in Saudi Arabia. He says, hopefully President Putin will agree to that. Also, and we can get this show on the road, Trump says, I think ceasefire is very important. So we'll see where that goes. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like the Russian side is all too interested. Here is from the political editor of Bloomberg UK, in exclusive, Alex Wickham. He says, Vladimir Putin has made deliberately maximalist demands ahead of negotiations to end the war in Ukraine, which he knows are likely to be unacceptable to Kyiv and Europe, Western security officials told Bloomberg. There is no indication Putin is willing to compromise on any of his goals, and he is ready to continue fighting the war if he does not get what he wants, the people said. The assessments about Putin's intent cast doubt on whether he is serious about negotiating a realistic, lasting peace settlement with Ukraine. The compliance... They complicate Trump's efforts to secure a deal and clash with the president's belief that Putin wants peace. Putin has said Ukraine must formally commit to neutrality, abandon any ambition to join NATO, demilitarize and recognize Russian claims to annex territory. Lavrov has ruled out European peacekeepers. There is no sign those maximalist demands have changed. It raises the prospect that Trump would have to agree to all of Putin's terms if he wants a deal or walk away. Both would risk rupturing relations between the U.S. and Europe and seeing Ukraine fight on without U.S. support. Does it have to be a conspiracy theory that Trump is a Russian agent to assume that it's all about the dollars and he sees more potential for his personal interests aligning with Russia and Putin? Trump, Moscow, hotel and businesses? No, this goes beyond that. The president, the head of the state, especially when it comes to dealing with foreign adversaries, like in Saudi Arabia, yes, but in Russia, no. A head of a state is still going to have to factor in the material interests of the military industrial complex and things of that nature. They can't just I think they'll get snipped up real quick if they were to step out of line far too much.
Question one more time. The goal here is peace. That's the president's goal. The best goodwill gesture the Russians can provide is to say yes to the offer that the Ukrainians have made.
This is what's really interesting about this is that because of Trump's aggressive posturing against Ukraine, seemingly on the side of Russia, all the way up until this very moment, they've set themselves up for failure in a spectacular way. If Russia turns around and says, yeah, no, then Trump is going to look like he undermined Ukraine for no reason and he got cooked by Vladimir Putin. I don't know why he felt as though Putin would be committed to a full-blown ceasefire. I mean, there are some reasons as to why Putin would want to do a ceasefire. Those reasons, of course, are that he also doesn't want to maintain, permanent military conquest, and he is having his troops die. Things of that nature obviously play a role in your decision making. But it is interesting to see Donald Trump go out the bat this hard to basically attack Ukraine and leave himself this vulnerable. We'll see.
Stop the shooting, to stop the fighting, and get to the table. If they do that, that's the best goodwill sign we could see. Obviously, as part of that negotiation, as we're talking about how to end this conflict, there will be a lot of issues to unravel. Among them, not the least of which is the humanitarian concerns, the children, the prisoners of war, all the things that sadly come with these conflicts. But the number one goodwill gesture we could see from the Russians is to see the Ukrainian offer and reciprocate it with a yes.
And next, for Reuters, Daphne Saladakis.
Thank you so much. Could you clarify what security assistance will be resumed? Does this include the PDAs? And why wasn't the minerals deal signed today? What are the outstanding issues there? And if I may, is the relationship with Ukrainian President Zelensky back on track? Do you back him?
Well, let me answer the second or the third. You had two, and then I'll let the security advisor talk about the defense and security assistance. On the second question, well, let me answer first on the minerals deal. As part of our communication today, that is something that was negotiated through our Treasury and his counterpart on the Ukrainian side. And so the president, and you see that expressed, both presidents will instruct the appropriate members of our governments to bring to finality the signature of the deal and the signature of this agreement. So that was communicated today, and that's going to happen. That was not the subject of our talks today. I thought I expressed that on our way in. We were here in pursuit of peace. That doesn't mean the minerals deal is not very important. It most certainly is, and we expressed that today in the statements we put out jointly, that the president, our respective presidents, have instructed the appropriate members of their governments to bring this to finality and to conclusion. The second part of your question was?
Does the security assistance include?
No, there was one after that.
There we go. Back on track.
Yeah. What's back on track here, hopefully, is peace. That's what matters the most. I know everyone's looking for who likes this is serious stuff. Okay, this is not Mean Girls. This is not some episode of some television show.
I mean, that's kind of funny. You're Trump's State Department lead. You're Trump's Secretary of State. Is pretty funny. He literally said this makes good television after nuking the mineral deal that he bullied Zelensky into signing. This ceremonious deal, and then he just cast it aside specifically because he wanted to make good television. He said it himself, and you've been actively defending that this whole time. Is crazy.
This is very serious. People will die in this war. They died yesterday, and sadly, unless there's a ceasefire tonight, they'll die tomorrow. The president wants that to stop. That's what he's interested in here. That's why we came here. That's why we're grateful for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia hosting us here. And what we leave here with today is a commitment that the Ukrainians are ready to stop fighting. They're ready to stop the shooting. So
That's such a good point. Being forced to give concessions to Russia, it makes him look less weak if he frames Putin as his friend in the fight. You know Trump so well, Lamau. I mean, I think it only works if Vladimir Putin is down to pack this up. Like, if he wants to undermine America, this is the perfect opportunity for him to do so by just refusing, by simply refusing to concede on demands that he's forcing America to take to Ukraine. He can just like he will just sit back and watch Donald Trump sever relations that exist with European nations, and then also make him look like a fool. Weirdly enough, it makes it seem as though Vladimir Putin holds all the cards when it's supposed to be Donald Trump that holds all the cards.
So that they can get to the table and bring about peace for their country and for the world on the security.
Well, I mean, I
mean, you're just taking your deck of cards and you're handing it off to Putin for no reason. I want a ceasefire. Like, there are a lot of things that get lost in the madness here that Marco Rubio has also presented, that even Donald Trump has mentioned as well. There's a brutal honesty to the way that the American government operates and the way that Donald Trump talks about certain issues. Now, we're not even focusing on those things because Donald Trump is still actively undermining his own ceasefire negotiation that he's supposed to be presenting in this situation. It's a ridiculous self-own for no reason.
Go enough. President Trump's president of peace. That's what he's demanding, and he's willing to take tough measures on that.
From Hassan. I know. You should be getting your news from real American patriots that are apolitical, like Asmongold, or people who are active sex pests who have hired Prince Andrew's law firm to belittle his victims like Destiny, or OAN, One American News Network, baby. You should be getting your news from Fox News, brother. Imagine getting your news from Hassan. Goddamn.
All sides to drive that home. And in terms of the security assistance, it's the current presidential drawdown authority. I'll refer to the Defense Department on the eaches of what munition was where in the process, but it's the current PDA that will proceed to the Ukrainians.
All right, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's fun stuff. That's fun stuff overall. Great stuff overall on the Ukraine situation. Today, will you cover Duterte finally being arrested and taken to The Hague yesterday? Yeah, we'll talk about Duterte because of the things. Ironically enough, Duterte is being prosecuted by the ICC for war crimes. And what's really interesting about it is that it's the same. The reason why he's being prosecuted is the reason why he's being prosecuted is the things that Donald Trump really liked about him, his assassination campaigns against drug dealers. But before we get to that, here is Donald Trump talking about the end of the world.
Let me go back to what happened in the Oval Office the other day. I call it a smackdown of Zelensky. It looked really rough, but then again, at the end of the day, you may have your deal back. So was that all the art of the deal? Or what specifically ticked you off?
Well, you know, it was like taking candy from a baby, what he did. He's a smart guy, and he's a tough guy. And he took money out of this country under Biden like candy from a baby. It was so easy, with that same attitude. And I just don't think he's grateful. We gave him, in my opinion, $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. We gave him $350 billion, and he's talking about the fact that they have fought, and there's a bravery because somebody has to use the weapons. But without those weapons, don't forget, I was the one that gave him the javelins that was able to knock down all the tanks. Obama gave nothing. Look, if I were president, that would have never happened. You wouldn't have had Russia going into Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the whole situation with Hamas and October 7th. It would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money. They weren't giving it to Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. You would have never had the worst evacuation anyone's ever seen, which is Afghanistan, which was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. And you know what else you wouldn't have had inflation. We had record-setting inflation under Biden. It was a killer.
You may get
one of the reasons I won the election.
But you may get it again.
Silence. Mike Goat is talking about Obama. Okay, a lot of you are not ready for the beautiful takes coming from the beautiful president about Barack Obama.
With these tariffs, right? I mean, one CEO said to me, my input costs have already started to go up. I'm going to have to raise prices.
In the meantime, guess what? Interest rates are down for the last 3-4 days at good levels. I mean, you know, when you add interest rates, you're talking about it's gone down. I've been saying, let's get interest rates down. You know, nobody ever gets rich when the interest rates are high because people can't borrow money. Interest rates are going down. You know what else is going down? What have I been trying to get down?
Oil.
Energy. Energy's going down. I'd love to see energy go down. You know, energy is really what caused it. They screwed up my energy. I had the most energy, and they screwed it up. Then they went back to it. It was going through the roof. They went back to some drilling, but it was gone. It was hopeless. It was lost. But energy's gone down, and interest rates have gone up over the last week. That's a big thing. I love that.
Do you expect Zelensky to come back? Do you expect to do that rare earth minerals deal?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll happen.
Are you sure there's the content that you think there is there? Because some people were questioning if, in fact, there is the, you know, the titanium and the lithium, all those battery, the rare earth minerals. Do you think it is rich with those things?
Well, I do. I mean,
Maria Bartiromo was like, I don't know if there's a lot of rare earth minerals, which you keep calling raw minerals, raw earth minerals. What does that really mean?
And I've had it checked. I've had it checked by the best.
Oh,
it's very valuable. But with all that being said,
he's had it
Biden
checked.
should have never put up $350 billion. He should have equalized with Europe. All he had to do is say, you got to stay even with us. They're in for 100. We're in for 350. How does that? And we have an ocean in between us, right? We're not in the danger that they are. They are in much greater danger, if you call it danger. He should have never done that. You know the other thing with Europe that bothers me? They've given Russia more money, by far, for buying their oil than they put into Ukraine. So they're paying all this money to Russia, and we're in there for $350 billion. Biden should have never done that.
I spoke with the president of Poland the other day. President Duda has great respect for you.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you know, what if the U.S. walks away and stays away? Here's what he said. Without the United States, do you believe that Europe is capable of offering meaningful security to Ukraine?
I would like to believe it, but experience to date shows that this has not been the case. The entire history so far of the last 3 years of the war shows that without American support, Ukraine will not survive.
Are you comfortable with that? The fact that you walked away and Ukraine may not survive?
Well, it may not survive anyway, but, you know, we have some weaknesses with Russia. You know, it takes two. Look, it was not going to happen, that war, and it happened. So now we're stuck with this mess. Think of what he stuck me with. Open borders where we have 21 million people came into our country, many of whom should not be here. Many are criminals. Many are criminals. Many murderers. Drug dealers, drug lords. We got that. We have the whole mess with Israel.
I don't even know if the Trump supporters believe this. Like, as far as the tariffs, like the necessity for the tariffs in terms of combating like fentanyl trafficking or whatever, like, do they do? Oh, God. Is there any way to talk to Trump supporters that believe that? I don't even know. Like, it is perhaps one of the dumbest excuses. He's trying to actively pair that with a thing that he's been talking about on the campaign trail. That's it. If he talked about bananas on the campaign trail and stabilizing the price of bananas on the campaign trail, that's the reason why he would do the tariffs. He'd be like, no, we're doing it because bananas are too expensive. We're going to fix it. Like, that's it. The only reason why he's talking about fentanyl is because, one, the executive office has some control over immigration and you know, protecting America's borders. So that's one way that he can implement these tariffs without it just actively being a decision that he's making for, I don't know. I don't even know what the reason is for the tariffs, especially because he keeps going back and forth on them. Like, he said he was going to do the tariffs on Canada this morning, right? And then he turned around and he said he's going to cut the Canada tariffs. He's looking at it. looking at backing down on the 50% duties on Canada, may back off, doubling steel, aluminum, Canada tariffs. Trump on Canada will probably make different tariff decision. Like, what is happening here? Is it because he just wants the stock market to collapse or something? He's just like actively wielding a will they, won't they situation with tariffs in an effort to cause volatility and insecurity, in an effort to cause a direct lack of confidence in the stock market, in an effort to forcibly drive these stocks down so that his rich buddies can buy the dip. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. I genuinely don't understand it. And I feel like it's so weird. It's such a weird thing that he's doing that, like, even his supporters can't. I have yet to hear from anyone, with maybe the exception of like Yanis Varoufakis, as to why the way that Donald Trump is operating with these tariffs is intelligent, like what the underlying goal is. Yeah, it's so he has a national security emergency, so they have some legal footing. Otherwise, Congress would have to implement them. I understand that. That's the reason why he says it's a fentanyl. Fentanyl is a national security issue, and the president can make unilateral decisions on stuff like that. That's why he's implementing tariffs. But the real reason why he's implementing tariffs is economic reasons. But I don't even understand what the economic reasons are, especially because he's not following through on them, because they keep pushing back. Everybody, he keeps saying, we're going to do tariffs. And then everybody goes, don't do that. That's going to cook us. That's going to destroy us. What are you doing? And then he goes back. He's like, no, okay, I won't do them. And then the next day he'll be like, I'm doubling the tariffs. And then everyone's like, what the hell do you mean you're doubling the tariffs? He goes, just kidding. And the only thing that causes is instability in the market. And I don't know. I don't know why, what the goal is there. Like, unless you want to drive stock prices down aggressively and then, I don't know, maybe consolidate power in the hands of your select few wealthy individuals. Like, is that what it is? Is that the point?
Israel on October 7th. We have all of the ramifications from the worst and dumbest withdrawal in history.
Both Ukraine and Israel were both attacked by aggressors. Is America treating both countries similarly? Are they treating the aggressors similarly?
The funniest thing that he did also is that he had like a White House meeting this morning. And that was ongoing. I don't know if they live streamed it or not, but he sat in front of a Tesla to defend Tesla stocks. Like, he personally was trying to bring up Tesla stocks. Like, we are so far removed from normalcy at this point. It is kind of crazy. Like, having a US president single out his favorite billionaire that gave him $100 million and just being like, his stock prices are getting pummeled. Let me tell you, this is a good car. You got to buy it. You Americans have to buy it. I'm the American president telling you, you have to buy it. Like, that is insane. That is an insane thing that's going on. I know we've like completely lost the plot on the Hatch Act, you know, that's woke and gay, of course. But like, this is kind of crazy. I mean, am I wrong? Am I insane? Am I the insane one? Yeah, he said the Tesla boycott is illegal. He's like, you can't do a BDS on Israel and you can't do it on Tesla. President Trump says he's going to buy a brand new Tesla tomorrow as a show of support amid the left-wing boycott. I mean, this is incredibly desperate. Will it work? Probably not. Why is he even doing it? Like, what? Oh, he's a dumbass. He effectively treating the United States like his business, and we haven't seen his track record. Yeah, I mean, it's illegal not to buy a Tesla. Every American must buy one. If you die in a Tesla, we will honor you. We will put your name on a board. Every American baby needs a Tesla. What is going on? I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. How can anybody look at this and go, that's right, he's my base president, dude?
Hello, President Trump. Are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. And I just want people to know that you can't be penalized for being a patriot. And he's a great patriot.
Dude, this is so embarrassing.
And he's also done an incredible job with Tesla. And I mean, nobody else has a car company started up in the last 30 years that's been successful. I don't think so. And not only successful, but super successful. And because he's able to find billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud and waste and all of the things. I mean, our country is going to be very strong very soon because of a lot of the things that he's done and a lot of the things that I'm doing. And there's no better team, but there's no better for what we're doing. There's nobody like this, and he shouldn't be penalized. And when I watched the other day, I said, I can't believe it. It should be the opposite. People should be going wild, and they love the product, but because he's finding all sorts of terrible things that have taken place against our country, they want to penalize him in an economic sense. And I just think that's very unfair. So I just wanted to make a statement. I'm going to buy one. Now, here's the bad news. I'm not allowed to drive because I haven't driven a car in a long time, and I love to drive cars. But I'm going to have it at the White House, and I'm going to let my staff use it. I'm going to let people at the place use it. And they all are all excited about that. I'm not.
Donald Trump has been actively undermining electric vehicles, ruining the possible grid of the electricity grid that is a necessity for Americans to confidently use electric vehicles. And he's now turning around and being like, but Teslas are good. It's very good. It's like you can't on the one hand destroy EVs across the board. And then also on the other hand, like this, Trump is trying to halt EV charger build out. Experts say it's not that easy. This is from February 7th. Like, he has gone against not just Tesla, but like all electric vehicles unconditionally as a EV owner. Okay. I'm frustrated by this, but part of that has played a role in obviously Tesla stocks alongside, Elon Musk being so closely associated with this administration, an administration that is actively undermining electric vehicles' future in this country, has caused Tesla stocks to plummet, right? So now he's trying to fix the situation just for Tesla, nobody else. Teslas are so good. And he says, Trump says he will label violence against Tesla dealerships as a form of domestic terrorism. He's like, if you draw a penis on a Cybertruck, you're going to jail. You're doing terrorism. Hurt Israel's feelings, terrorism. Draw a penis, hurt a Tesla owner's feelings, terrorism. It's kind of funny because while there is central planning in China, and obviously they've played an active role, the government has played an active role in heavily subsidizing EV production and flooding the European and global markets with affordable Chinese electric vehicles. I don't even think the Chinese government would be like, if you were to say that BYD is bad, we are going to assassinate you. Like, the country, not necessarily known for free speech protections, probably wouldn't go, oh yeah, if you had any criticisms against BYD, you're going to Chinese jail. Amazing stuff coming from the free speech country. We are gonna do our very best to claw back the Tesla stocks.
Wow, that's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
Wow. Everything's computer. I love it. It's computer. So much computer.
That's beautiful. Wow.
Wow. Nah, I think Tesla, confidence in Tesla is at an all-time low. Confidence in Elon is at an all-time low, which is why confidence in Tesla is at an all-time low. And I think Donald Trump associating himself this openly with Tesla is probably going to piss people off, especially because his fan base have actively shit on electric vehicles. Donald Trump has actively shit on electric vehicles. Like, Trump supporters are not necessarily big electric vehicle fans. They think it's gay, it's woke, it's lib shit. Yesterday, Tesla stocks were at its lowest point, as in it had dropped so much that it was at the same point it was in 2020. Tesla stocks had gotten down to a point where if you had purchased Tesla stock in 2020, you had the same, your Tesla stocks was worth the same as they were in 2020. Now, it's unfortunately up 5% today. Yeah, I mean, when the president comes out and actively promotes Teslas, I'm sure it'll go up a little bit. But having said that, I think people's anger and resentment towards Teslas being branded as the swastika mobile is probably going to continue.
Yeah, it's just a brake and an accelerator. Do you have a Secret Service flight attack?
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You don't want me to drive it, do you?
I saw Biden do a.
I'll tell you, it could be.
Once in the Jeep.
Yeah,
It's very easy to drive.
That's. You're the only one that saw it.
So it's like driving a golf cart, basically.
Very simple.
It's very simple. So it's literally like the golf cart that goes really fast. There's no gears.
This is really amazing. Think Biden could get into that car? I don't know.
Still talking big dookie on Biden. Big Brandon. Get Brandon's name out of your mouth, sir.
Not allowed to use it. Can you believe it?
It's live now.
Very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel. But the cars themselves. So what is this one, Elon?
That's a Model Y.
That's a Model Y, so I have a lot of information, including the price.
Yeah.
I want to make a good deal here. You know, I do notice this. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Let this man do full self-driving, man. Come on, please. I have a lot of confidence in Teslas.
Yeah. And I just want to thank.
I have a lot of confidence in Teslas. I really want Donald Trump to do a FSD. Just click on the FSD and drive away into the sunset, baby. See where it takes you. Come on.
Tesla stores. These are innocent people who've done nothing wrong. You know.
But nobody's been. I mean, it hasn't been. There's been some physical damage, a little damage, and we want to keep it that way because I don't want to say this. It's just not the appropriate. But law enforcement's out there watching everybody. We don't want this to happen. And not to somebody that's been so good to our country. He didn't have to do this. He didn't have to go through this. And we can't let it happen. And aside from that, I happen to love the product. It's a lot nicer if you also happen to love the product. And he's done a really good job. Go ahead, Peter.
Is there, I guess this is for Elon Musk, is there a discount? President Trump wrote the art of the deal. Is there any kind of room for negotiating here?
Let me answer that. I know he'd give me a discount, but honestly, I don't want to ask for one. You know, I'm president, so I want to pay full price.
And what is your message, President Trump, buying a new car while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work.
Who are you from?
Well,
Where are you?
We're going to do great. I think our country had to do this. We had to go and do this.
Who's asking this question? I don't like you.
Countries have taken away our business. They've taken away our jobs. I did it initially very strongly against, as you know, China and some others in the first term. And it was a very successful term. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And then we had COVID, which we had to straighten out. So I didn't want to be doing anything with respect to other countries at that time. And we did a great job with it. We handed the stock market over. It was higher than it ever was. And think of that, higher than it ever was to that point before. And nobody thought that was even possible. We did a great job. But we had the greatest economy in history. This economy, in my opinion, is going to blow it away. But what I have to do is I have to get the workers back. I have to get the factories open. We have 90,000 factories and plants are closed from what you had just prior to NAFTA, which is not very long ago. 90,000, think of it, 90,000 factories and plants are closed from what it was, and it's just not right. So, and we gave it away. Presidents before me gave it away, and I could name every one of them. But they gave it away, and we're taking it back. We're taking our jobs back. And one of the things I'll say, by the way, speaking of Tesla, he manufactures more cars. I mean, he opened this incredible plant, one of the largest plants in the world, in Texas. Could you talk about that, Eva?
Yeah, it's worth noting that the Tesla cars have the most U.S. content of any cars on the market, so they're the most American-made. We have the biggest factory and the most advanced automotive factory in Texas that we've opened and continue to expand. And so this is very much these are great products. A Model S is one best car ever.
Best car ever.
So all these cars have won incredible awards. So they're great cars and they're American-made. And I think, try it. You'll like it.
And I'm just saying, beyond the cars, they're great. But we have to celebrate somebody that has the courage to do this. He could have said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to get involved. Let the country go to hell. He didn't want to do that. And remember, he's going to find, and we're up to almost $500 billion worth of waste and fraud. And if he has 500 billion, we're giving $2 billion here, $2 billion there, not millions. It was a bet. If it was $1 million or $2 million, that's a lot of money. But we're talking about billions of dollars being given to defunct, scams, given to people with nothing. They have nothing going. They open up a subchapter S corporation, and they put $2 billion into it from nowhere. And we've caught a lot of them. I wish we could catch all of them, but we've caught a lot of them. And he's been largely responsible. So we have to celebrate him. And it's not that he's conservative. I don't even know if he's conservative. I will tell you this.
It's pretty funny to think that, like in the first Trump administration, people would talk about the Hatch Act, right? People would talk about the Hatch Act and be like, oh, Trump is violating the Hatch Act. Like now it's just so, like, that's the expectation. The expectation is just like, yeah, no, he's gonna do that, and there's not really much you can say.
From our standpoint, American cars, American made. He employs thousands of people. He's got, at the same time, he has the most modern plants in the world. I said, I don't like what's happened to you. I'm going to do it. I didn't even know he was going to come.
What do you mean?
He's never asked me for anything. He endorsed me, and he never asked me. I didn't even know he was going to endorse me. The guy has never asked me. He's not saying, in fact, I could go a step further. I ended the electric mandate. Okay? I ended the electric mandate. And I figured, when's this guy calling to raise hell with me?
Like, yeah, he ended it. It ruined me.
If I were him, I would have called, because he's probably even better than I am.
Is electric then the way to go?
It's not that, this isn't for electric or gas, because people have their choices.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I know people that have these cars. I know one man, we see him all the time. Yeah. He has 5 of them.
Yeah.
He thinks it's and he was a big guy for Ferraris and other things. And he says, man, it blows him away. I know other people, they have 3, 4, they love them. They love them. And some people like the gasoline, and they should have their options. Right. I'm all about options. But I'm telling you, I ended the electric mandate, and I was waiting for a call. I said, did Elon call yet? They said, no, sir. The next day, what about Elon? Did he call? He never even mentioned it to me, never complained. Until this moment, I'm just bringing it up. Who would do that? Yeah. He has never asked me for a thing. And he's built this great company, and he shouldn't be penalized because he's a patriot. He's an incredible patriot. And I don't even know if he's a Republican. I really don't.
Yes, definitely.
And markets are going to go up, and they're going to go down.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have to rebuild our country. Our country has been stripped of its jobs, of its factories. And I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments in an old broken down. Tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments in an old broken down factory. But you have factories all over the place that are empty from many decades ago. And we're going to change it around. And it's all taxing policy. You know, it's really a policy because we have great workers, great people. It's really a policy of taxing and incentives. And I'm bringing the incentives back. And I'll tell you what, numerous plants, and I don't want to mention specifically, but I'll mention this one, numerous plants in Mexico and other places that were under construction or soon to be under construction are now coming here, and they've dropped that because it was unfair what was happening. Mexico, they were building
Eurochatter asks, what is the Hatch Act? The Hatch Act of 1939 is an act to prevent pernicious political activities. It is a United States federal law that prohibits civil service employees in the executive branch of the federal government, except the president and vice president, from engaging in some forms of political activity. Basically, it's you're not allowed to do this, exactly this, which is for your own personal gain or for any other reasons to promote, like it's basically to stop Donald Trump or other presidents and other civil servants from doing exactly this, which is a QVC / hashtag ad for a specific product. Why? Why would that be? Why would that be something that? Why would that be something that the federal government would want to stop from happening? It's because they don't want someone to get $100 million in campaign contributions, and then with that $100 million, have the president do an ad when the stock prices are tanking for your company. It's because it's you have from the bully pulpit, you have awesome power and responsibility, and utilizing the bully pulpit to do an ad for one company after someone gave you money would be pure corruption. Pure corruption. That is what this is. This is the exact reason as to why they don't want this to, they wanted to stop this from happening.
Done it the easy way. I could have coasted.
It forbids the intimidation or bribery of voters and restricts political campaign activities by federal employees. It prohibits using any public funds designated for the relief of public works for electoral purposes. Forbids officials paid with federal funds from using promises of jobs promotion, financial assistance, contracts, or any other benefits to coerce campaign contributions or political support.
Are doing an incredible job, but he left us a horrible situation. And we're changing it. But one of the things we're changing is we're going to make our country really wealthy again. We're going to bring our jobs back. Right now, we're like a chicken that's being plucked at from all over the world. We're not going to let that happen anymore.
Mr. President,
but very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also. And we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports. And they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think it's a very big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on, and people are going to get killed, lots of people.
Is Zelensky invited back to the White House?
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. President, you mentioned the ups and downs in the stock market. You said it'll go up, it'll go down. But do you and your tariff policies right now bear any responsibility for the turmoil we're seeing this week?
Biden gave us a horrible economy. He gave us horrible inflation. And I think the market was going to go very, very bad. If anything, I have a lot of very smart people, friends of mine and great businessmen. They're now investing because of what I'm doing. Because long-term, what I'm doing is making our country strong again.
I guess the exemptions given to the president and vice president in the Hatch Act is part of the reason why the media is not talking about this either. Because there are exemptions because the president and vice president have more power than the regular federal employees. So that's probably part of the reason why people don't even talk about it. But the other
why didn't he catch him?
The other reason is because no one gives a shit.
5 weeks into the presidency, I caught the man responsible for Abbeygate, and he's going to pay hell right now. He's a bad dude. He's a bad guy. But we didn't have these problems. I had no inflation. I had a great economy.
I mean, he did admit
He gave you high prices. You couldn't buy bacon. You couldn't buy anything. And also, I inherited a situation with eggs. The price of eggs was through the roof. Well, now the price of eggs has come down a lot. Interest rates have come down. Gasoline prices have come down. It's all coming down. It's all a beautiful thing. I can do it the right way or the wrong way. We're doing it the right way. And I have tremendous confidence in this country and the people of this country. Tremendous confidence, much more so than if I sat back for 4 years and had a good time in the Oval Office. I want to look at cars.
Trump's tariff flip-flopping isn't a bad strategy. It is this strategy. Chaos keeps markets, media, and the world leads off balance, making him the center of attention. Doesn't care about policy, just controlling the narrative. He threatens and backs off to claim victory. No, I think it's that market volatility, that instability actually causes stock prices to go down so that they can engage in like some semblance of market consolidation at the lowest possible point that they can, only to rebound with stability, I guess. But that is the only logical conclusion, and that's kind of what Donald Trump was talking about right here, too. He's like, buy the dip when the market is down. But it doesn't make sense. It truly does not make sense. Because this level of instability is going to make it harder for people to have confidence in the market.
When's the last time you bought a new car?
Well, I buy a lot through my children because they run the company now. I used to buy a lot. I haven't bought a new car in a long time.
What was your first car?
The only thing I know is the Beast. I got a big car with very thick windows and thick side panels. We buy a lot of cars. Actually, I bought this one for Kai.
Do you remember your first car?
Giving you his decision about the electricity surcharge, and you said you were pleased about that. Will you make a different decision now about the tariffs on Canada? Will you reduce it?
At that, but probably so. Yeah, he was a gentleman. He was a gentleman. Look, I said it before. We give Canada $200 billion a year. We subsidize Canada between all of the things we give them and trade. We give them. We don't have to have cars made in Canada. We don't have to have lumber from Canada. We have tremendous lumber. We have tremendous trees. All I have to do is unfreeze them from some of the restrictions that were put on. I can do that with an executive order. We don't need energy. We have more energy than anybody else in the world. So we spend $200 billion a year subsidizing Canada. We don't have to do that. And frankly, the way that gets solved is Canada should honestly become our 51st state. We wouldn't have a northern border problem. We wouldn't have a tariff problem. They spend very little, as you know, the least of almost anybody on military. And we spend the most of anybody on military. We have a great military. I rebuilt the military during my first time. We're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. Not that much, but we're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. But Canada would be great as our cherished 51st state. You wouldn't have to worry about borders. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. And by the way, Canada is very highly taxed, and we're very low tax. We're considered a low tax nation because of me, because I cut the taxes so low. So the people of Canada would pay much less tax. It makes a lot of sense. And by the way, when you take away that artificial line that looks like it was done with a ruler, and that's what it was. Some guy sat there years ago and they said, "Marah." Well, when you take away that and you look at that beautiful formation of Canada and the United States, there is no place anywhere in the world that looks like that. And then if you add Greenland, that's even. That's pretty good.
It's going to look beautiful.
Okay? I'm going to look at this. I'm going to make a decision. Do you want to hear what my decision? Okay. What's your best of these cars? What do you think?
Well, the car that I drive is the Model S Plaid.
Which is that one?
Red one in the middle.
I like that. Yeah.
It's 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. So faster than a Ferrari.
That's pretty enough. My people can handle it. They're going to be using it more. I'm not allowed to use it.
That's fast.
That's a fast one. Which one?
The 50% tariffs.
I'll let you know about it. Yeah,
okay.
I'll let you.
Like, I'm doing an ad. Shut up about tariffs on Canada.
I thought it was nice. This is beautiful. Whoa! Should I get in? Okay. Let me get in this.
I'm doing an ad.
You want my notes?
Don't worry about the tariffs on Canada. Incredible. Incredible, sir.
I'll watch Secret Service go crazy.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, they were really
wow.
Like into this other side.
That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful. Wow. How about starting the engine? No, is this just a brake?
Yeah, it's just a brake and an accelerator.
I don't want to.
Give Secret Service.
Beautiful.
Can you start it?
Should I? I'll start.
Do you want to actually drive it?
You don't want me to drive it, do you?
Yeah. Ethical reacts dictate that we must watch this ad, but if you want me to skip this ad, then subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime, and I will skip this hashtag ad that Donald Trump is doing for Tesla very clearly. You can also get gifted a sub. Okay, if we start a hype train and get gifted enough subs, which you can once again subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. Okay. I will skip this hashtag ad. Throwing bagels at the wall. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. The one-time Tesla cars are not experiencing electrical failures is right here in this moment, Cheeky Scarecrow, thank you for the 5 gifted. Stiff Magnetico, I think. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Hitbox, thank you for the 5 gifted.
Others are unable to do. When you do that, those people are going to go through a
If you skip a Tesla ad, you're a terrorist. We're sending you to Guantanamo Bay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Cuba is a beautiful place. Guantanamo Bay. We will send you there. You're doubly going to Guantanamo Bay if you are also hurting Israel's feelings. Don't hurt Israel's feelings and don't skip a Tesla ad. You will go to Guantanamo.
Business roundtable, especially with the
I have a roundtable to make it a little while. I just consider this much more important because I want to buy one of these. My whole staff is so excited because I told them they're going to safely use them, and they can't believe it. So Margot, wherever you are, Margot, she's going to use it. They're all going to be using it, and they're going to have a good time using it. And
If I can,
Do I think it's alarming that the vague definition of terrorism is now being applied to basically anything Trump feels is not good? Yes. I think it's probably not good that now Trump is considering vandalism against Teslas to be an act of domestic terror, hurting Israel's feelings to be an act of domestic terror. It's definitely not good.
I think they don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom. But as I said,
what else will he consider to be an act of terror? Maybe he'll say, if you don't like the tariffs, if you say my tariffs are ruining the stock market, that's an act of terror. You're going to jail.
Is right.
And what do you say to Americans?
If you look at what I've said over the last 10 years, Trump has been right all the time. This is the way to do it. We're going to make America great again. You know, to make it great, you have to have jobs, you have to have factories, you have to have. I look at some of the things that, like this last administration. He was the worst president in the history of our country. Nothing was happening. Nothing. He had no idea what was going on. Our country went to hell. And then to allow millions of people to come in that are prisoners and mental institution patients.
What do you mean? Because he said so. That's it. That's it. It's just whatever he says goes. That's it.
Going to do that. But on the financial end and the economic end, what we're doing is, to me, it's the most exciting. Our country will be greater than ever before, and it won't take too long.
And what's your message to Americans right now, sir, who are worried about the stock market? What's your message to them as they watch it?
Let's go see the Cybertruck. I did buy one of them.
He's like, don't leave yet. You still haven't done the Cybertruck ad. That's what he said. He said, hey, get back here. He said, get back here. You haven't done the Cybertruck ad yet.
In terms of imagination, I think I have a great imagination. Who else but this guy would design this, and everybody on the road is looking at it? It's amazing, actually.
Not for good
as soon as I
reasons.
saw it, I said, that is the coolest design. It's. Do you agree with that, Brian? I mean,
I do.
It's amazing.
It's very cool. Yeah.
You got to give him credit.
We want the future to look like the future, and it's kind of what kind of truck would Blade Runner drive? That was the design idea.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Elon, are you planning to remain CEO of Tesla while working with President Trump? Is there any thinking on your future at the company? As we're talking about Tesla, I'm wondering where your thinking is with leading the company going forward.
Yeah, I'm CEO of Tesla. And,
we should.
Yeah.
Any more plans of additional vehicles besides the ones you have now?
The Cybercab coming out next year.
The one with no steering wheel. Are you gonna buy one of those?
No, sir.
We'll pass. We're too old-fashioned.
Yes,
so, Mr. President, when you look at the market selling off, that didn't concern you, and where do you see it
doesn't
going?
Concern me. I think some people are going to make great deals by buying stocks and bonds and all the things they're buying. I think we're going to have an economy that's a real economy, not a fake economy. It was a fake economy. They were putting in all government jobs. You see what happened last month? We had more real jobs, and government jobs are way down. That's going to continue. Those are real jobs. Those are jobs that keep the country going. You can't have all government jobs. You have no income to pay the workers. Yeah. And a lot of those workers didn't show up to work. That was the other problem.
And President Trump, there's this protest leader from Columbia University that the administration is moving to deport. And he said that his arrest is going to be the first of many. How many?
I think we ought to get them all out of the country. They're troublemakers. They're agitators. They don't love our country. We ought to get them the hell out. I think that guy, we ought to get him. I heard his statements, too. They were plenty bad. And I think we ought to get him the hell out of the country. I watched him. I watched tapes. Specifically, I watched tapes. And you can have them, okay? You can have them. And you can have the rest of them. Let them go to school. Let them learn. Columbia used to be a good school. Now it's been overrun because of bad leadership. That's what happens. Happens to countries, and it happens to universities, and it happens to companies. And I don't want it to happen to a guy that did nothing wrong. He did everything right because he did a great company. But what he did by coming into government to help government from years of abuse, from decades of abuse, and you see that when you look at Social Security, where you have 200-year-old people on the rolls of society. That's just, he uses the word care. People don't care. Everyone knows that. But it's also, I believe it's also large fraud. I think it's that. But I think it's also large fraud. So I'm just telling people, this man is a great patriot, and you should cherish him. You should cherish him. You know, I have a little statement. We have to take care of our high IQ people because we don't have too many of them.
Mr. President,
and we got to take care of them.
And the Security Administration, and you guys are looking for fraud and waste and abuse. can you guarantee people who are concerned about an interruption to benefits that there will not be?
Yes, we're going to be very careful with any interruption to benefits. In fact, only by tackling the waste and fraud in entitlements like Social Security, Medicare, can we actually preserve those programs for the future. Because with unchecked fraud and waste, we won't be able to afford them. The president's very dedicated to solving the budget deficit, which if we don't solve the budget deficit, we're going to go bankrupt as a country. If we go bankrupt as a country, there's no Social Security, there's no Medicare, there's no nothing. And to sort of echo what the president was saying, what really matters is moving people from jobs that are relatively low productivity in government to high productivity in the private sector, increasing the true output of products and services. That's the real economy. That's what actually enables Americans to have a higher standard of living, and that's what's happening. And that's, I think, that you'll see the truth of that in the months to come.
And we're going to make it really much stronger by taking people that don't exist or taking people that shouldn't be there out, by taking illegal aliens that are on Social Security or Medicaid and Medicare. By taking them out, we're making it much stronger. The country will be much stronger, but it's going to really be stronger economically. And when you look at what we're doing, I've been called by so many companies. Yesterday, as you know, I had a meeting with some of the biggest tech companies in the world. And all they're talking about, IBM was there. We had a lot of them. Dell, Michael Dell was there. We had a lot of great companies, Hewlett Packard. And all they're talking about is investing in this country.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, a lot of CEOs are legitimately worried about speaking out of turn because they just don't want to draw the ire of the Trump administration, who has demonstrated its willingness to tank companies, hit him with like insane things that previous administrations wouldn't dare touch. Trump will do anti-capitalist things at the behest of his own narcissistic desires. He will go after companies. He'll do it. I mean, look at him just playing around with the stock market like this.
Markets we've ever had, and it's going to be really fueled by what we're doing. You had to see these companies yesterday. They're investing billions and trillions. They're investing trillions of dollars here. They wouldn't have invested 10 cents.
Mr. President, will you talk to Vladimir Putin about this ceasefire deal? Do you think you need to have a conversation with him to get the Russians to agree?
I'll talk to Vladimir Putin, yeah.
When will
I want to get, look, that's the other, it takes two to tango, as they say, right? So hopefully he'll also agree, and I really think that would be 75% of the way. The rest is getting it documented and, negotiating land positions, etc.
So you'll talk to him this week about the deal?
So, yeah.
So and when do you anticipate meeting him in person?
In place on the Ukrainian side, how close do you think then you are to a total ceasefire with
Well, I hope it'll be over the next few days. I'd like to see. I know we have a big meeting with Russia tomorrow.
I have a very special guest coming on the stream in a second, by the way.
The people have done a great job. Marco Rubio's been great. Steve Witkoff's been great. Michael Waltz. Every one of them. They've really stepped up. They are into it. They want to see two things. By far, number one is death of people that aren't citizens of our country, but they're people, just like you. They're people, and we want to stop. And we also don't want to give billions and hundreds of billions of dollars away. We're in there for $350 billion, and there was no reason. This war would have never happened if I was president. So it's a very sad thing. Thank you all very much. I love Tesla. The one I like is that one.
And how does this work?
And I want that same color.
Are you going to put down a credit card? Elon, would you take a personal check from the president?
I do it I give checks.
Sure.
I like checks.
I think his credit's good.
Do you still have access?
I like a check better than this modern system of all of a sudden there's money in your account, nobody knows. I like signing a check. But we're gonna pay, and I don't want a discount. He would give me a discount. But if I do a discount, they're going to say, "Oh, he got benefits." I don't want any discount.
Wait, what do you mean?
Vanity plate?
He got benefits. He already gave you $100 million in campaign contributions, and you're doing this as a benefit already. You're doing this because Tesla stocks are down. You're doing this because his association with you has caused a lot of people to go, "Oh, I'm reconsidering the purchase I made for this company that I thought was liberal when I made this purchase." And you're over here being like, no, I'm going to defend him. I'm going to claw back the stock prices. Tesla, selling Tesla stock is illegal. Not buying more Tesla stock is also illegal. We are doing everything we can to make it so that you have to buy a Tesla. Not buying a Tesla is also illegal.
Some people would say, well, let's use somebody that failed in business for his whole life. You know, this guy has been amazing. And the kind of thinking is it's from a different age. It's really from a different age. When we said, let's cut 2%, he said, let's cut 60%. And he turned out to be right. And a lot of people are just not here. They don't work for us. I mean, they're getting checks and they don't work. And you know, Peter, look, we have so many different stats and so many different figures. And it's so embarrassing to us as a country. No, we're going to have a streamlined country with good people. And one of the reasons, and I called for it wasn't a cabinet meeting, it was just a meeting of some cabinet members and Elon. The one thing, and I think he agrees with me 100%, it's one thing to cut, but we want to cut the wrong people, meaning we want to cut people that aren't doing the job. We want to keep the right people.
Absolutely.
And I said, I don't want to just say we're going to cut 50%. I want to cut the people that aren't doing the job, the people that aren't there, the people that are scamming the system. And he agrees with that 100%.
And are you sure you don't want to take a test drive?
I'd love to do it. Maybe I'll do it some other time.
Do you want Elon to keep working with you throughout your first term? I mean, is there going to be an end date for the two of you working together?
I don't know. You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I think he'll know when it's time.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't want to stay around.
He has up to 130
although
days,
I think he does like it. There's no place like the White House.
Elon,
Okay, so maybe.
Would you want to stay?
I don't think that. I think he wants to get the job done, get back to his businesses. That's what I think.
I just want to. I'll stay as long as it's useful and productive, and if I can help the country, I'll stay and do so.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good-looking guy.
Elon, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, just listening in there is President Trump buying a Tesla alongside Elon Musk. You see the Cybertruck, the red Tesla outside there of the White House in our nation's capital. And coming in just a little bit ago, tape playback, if you will, and of course, plenty of questions about the economy today as the markets fluctuated due to those tariffs. We did hear that Canada will be pulling back on that 25% tariff against electricity. Also talking about and reiterating, calling this a period of transition, not ruling out a recession, but obviously saying that they had to go through some of these, saying the economy and the stock market does not concern him. Of course, a post here from Margot Martin there outside of the White House of this event as President Trump and Elon Musk, they hop in a Tesla. No test drive, though, for the president. And he says he doesn't really remember the last time he bought a car. He does through his company. He doesn't remember the last time his first car as well. So plenty to get to, an interesting site outside of the White House. Plenty to get to here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be back after this.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Stavy Baby in the building.
What's up, you little fuckers?
That's right. We have Stavros Halkias in the building, Stavy Baby. For those of you who don't know, he's a comedian.
That's right.
Okay. He's other than being a sex icon. And you missed it. Donald Trump did a fucking QVC ad for like the past hour.
What was he selling?
Teslas.
Teslas?
Yeah, because Tesla stocks, everyone's been drawing dicks on Teslas and like putting dog shit
You're
on
a fucking
Teslas.
loser if you have a Tesla now.
Yeah.
That's what you get, pussies.
Which is why, and the Tesla stocks have been tanking. There's been like vandalism against Teslas all around the world too. So Donald Trump decided to save the Tesla stock by doing a straight up QVC. Dude. Look at this in front of like.
He was doing this.
Yeah, no, like literally. Look at this. The president of the United States of America is sitting in front of standing in front of three different Teslas, being like, "Wow, Teslas are so wonderful. Believe me."
The truck is not gay.
Yeah,
the Cybertruck does not look like shit.
I know. I originally said
You're
it was
cool
gay.
if you get it. I know. I said it was gay 2 years ago.
I said it was gay. I don't believe it's gay any longer. I love the Teslers. He also said Tesla, which is pretty awesome.
Respect, Tesla.
Yeah. This is
Elon's over there with his little hat.
This is the situation now. This is where we're at with the current
current
administration. Dude. He also, I mean, we're gonna be talking about Mahmoud Khalil as well in a brief moment.
Free him.
Yeah. But that's the situation. We're using the American government for wonderful things. He also said I don't know if you've been paying attention, but like he's been talking about these tariffs. saying that he's going to do tariffs and then going back and saying he's not going to do tariffs. This was the funniest part, I think.
Oh, hell, did he pop in?
He pops in and he goes, wow. Here.
He's so live.
Wow. That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
Everything's computer.
He didn't even. He's never even been in one. He's
no, he has. The last time he was in a Tesla was a Cybertruck because Aiden Ross had a Cybertruck with like the Trump's worst moment in his life, almost being assassinated on the side of it, and he was like, "Wow."
What's Aiden up to? He's been quiet recently.
Yeah, he's been trying to get back on Twitch. He's been trying to get unbanned. He's like, "Yeah, that was the old me when I had Nazis on my stream denying the Holocaust, and as a Jewish man agreeing with them."
Damn, dude, it sucks to be that fucking stupid.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it's like really funny if it wasn't serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the whole Trump too is like.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty hilarious. Like it's like a bit. As a bit, it's pretty funny to be like a Jewish guy that's so dumb that he believes when Nazis tell him that like Adolf Hitler was a good guy. But
damn,
that is
that level of stupid.
No, he literally did. Yeah.
God damn. What is it? Is he streaming on that other one? What's the other one?
Kick, the one, yeah, the cryptocurrency
Oh,
pedophilia
hell yeah.
one.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the good one. That's the good website.
Yeah, what kind of content's he up to, man? Let's plug him.
Yeah. But now it's, I mean, it's gonna get to a point where it's like if you criticize Aiden Ross, there's also terrorism.
Yeah, it's
great.
It is. I actually saw a really interesting video about you, man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh no!
Yes.
What's the video?
I saw something. It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah.
That I really didn't know stuff like that.
What's it
you
about?
kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that. And I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming on the podcast.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. I'm actually here to let you know that I'm actually do not fuck with all that stuff you were saying.
Yeah. Well,
I was here. Honestly, I was here because the first time I was just hoping, I don't know, some kind of maybe I could get on
have the
this.
Hamas gift basket.
Maybe I could get some
You
pussy
come in
from.
and sneak a little bit.
Honestly, I really hadn't read up on it. It just seemed like hotter women were into the whole Hamas thing. So I was trying to get some head from a curvy Middle Eastern woman, and that hasn't happened. So I'm ready to switch up.
Yeah, you're done.
So unless look, ultimately,
Israel
like
high.
you, I'm a capitalist, and whoever makes me the best deal, aka the most head, I'm switching up. So you have 48 hours, and if I don't get head from a curvaceous woman of Arabian descent, or I guess a classic e-girl, that's the other thing. I've gotten nary any streamer pussy out of being your friend, and what is even the point?
I know. I'm sorry.
Just I come here. I make your chat funny every 4 months. It's the best stream you have. It's usually you just being like, "Can you believe this? Whoa,
that is what I do.
Whoa, what the hell is this?
Is that your impression of me?
What the hell is these clowns in Washington? What the hell are they up to?
Why am I?
Come here, provide a little
45-year-old man. My political
That's your
commentary
spirit.
Yeah,
that's your spirit.
45-year-old man going, these clowns in Washington. No,
Yeah.
I'm apolitical. Yo, you got the hat? Yo, check that. Check it.
This one?
Yeah. I put this hat on. Boom. Instantly not political. You know what I mean? That's how you know. I can switch it around.
Dude, that's so true.
Yeah, everyone looks at the hat and goes, oh, that guy obviously just loves America.
He just loves America. He wants to make it great again.
Yeah, he has a nuanced and balanced perspective on this stuff. You know who's not apolitical, though? Bill Burr. He's been fucking popping off.
Shout out to Bill. He's the fucking man.
Yeah. He went on Fresh Air and he had some choice words for Elon Musk. Let's take a look.
Is beyond me. And where my comedy act is right now is I'm trying to get regular people to stop yelling at each other and realize that it's a select few group of nerds.
Yes.
Okay, eating raw almonds and doing their stupid workouts and everything and just competing with each other to have the biggest infinity pool, and the rest of us are getting pushed down. And they've politicized the whole stupid thing. And we're falling for it.
Yes, sir.
And who's the they? Besides people who eat almonds?
That idiot Elon Musk.
Oh.
That guy, like he's going to, like, who evidently is a Nazi. Like, I just refuse to believe that it was an accidental 2-time Sieg Heil.
Yeah, what a dork.
And he does it at a presidential inauguration. This is why I hate liberals. It's like liberals have no teeth whatsoever. They just go,
Talk to
oh my
him, Bill.
God. Can you believe I'm getting out of the country? I'm just like, you're going to leave the country because of one guy with dyed hair plugs and a laminated face who makes a bad car and has an obsolete social media platform? You're going to leave?
Get his ass.
Why doesn't he leave?
Yeah.
Why isn't he stopped?
He's South African. He's not even American. He doesn't even go here.
Get him out of here.
What are we so afraid of this guy who can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag?
Let's fuck him up.
Yeah.
Let's throw hands.
Yeah. So, first of all, I mean, watch out. That could be terrorism. Donald Trump has declared that the vandalism against
I did see
Teslas
that.
are now considered an act of terror.
Wait, against Teslas?
Yeah.
This is pathetic, man.
Yeah.
This is
If you
they're tattling.
Yeah. If
You're
you draw a
tattling
dick.
because you draw a dick. If you got, I won't actually say that, but. We should be offering.
Wow, they call you a Turk.
How
though.
dare you?
They called you a Turk.
The first part of that is good. He's a delusional cosplayer.
Yeah,
I am a real.
You are a Turk.
No, I'm a son of the ancient Greek Empire.
I don't know, man.
Of which the entire world has
know.
taken their culture,
I don't know.
including Turks.
The other night I was talking to elders, like you were looking.
Take this down.
You were looking real Albanian.
Take this down. Don't you ever call me Turkish or Albanian, you motherfucker.
I don't know.
I'm about to leave, dude. I'm about to take 4 Fairlifes and leave.
Have you done?
This man stays with the protein, by the way. This is what your fucking Twitch dollars are going towards.
Yeah. Have you done
microplastic
a 22
proteins? A 22andMe?
Like one of those like genealogy
23andMe,
things?
dumbass?
23andMe? I don't fucking
idiot.
Why would I know?
22andMe?
I've never done it. I don't know. I don't even know what it's fucking
That's
called.
so stupid to call it that. To get it wrong by 1 digit doesn't even make sense. No, you actually have a 20. Yeah, you have an extra chromosome. You need to take a 24andMe,
Okay,
Hassan.
so 23andMe.
A 25andMe. You have some kind of rare Turkish form of Down syndrome where you get 2 extras.
Yeah, me and Shane, we avoided it by a slim margin. Okay, listen.
It only affects the way you decide to dress.
Okay, dude. Listen. Is this one of your shirts?
I'm
that
looking
you can
beautiful,
finally,
dude, with
you
your
can finally
silk
fit
fucking
into?
pants.
Wait.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it looks good.
Why are you wearing silk pants in your own home, dude?
Bro, it's
who are you
comfy.
trying to
It's
impress?
Comfy. It's comfy as fuck right now. I'm feeling it's rainy out. You know what I mean? I'm in my hoodie.
Get some fucking khakis. You're a grown man.
I do sometimes
Show
wear.
some respect.
I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to be comfy today. But listen. Have you done a 23andMe?
I have not.
You have not.
I don't
Dude,
need the man.
he's
I don't need the
afraid.
man having my DNA.
You know what it is? He's afraid.
I'm not
he's
afraid.
that it's gonna come out that he's like fucking 50% Turkish.
It's gonna come out direct
gonna
descendant
ruin.
of Alexander the Great.
Yeah, it's
that's
gonna
what
come-
they're gonna say.
it's gonna
They're gonna
come-
say direct line from Alexander the Great to you, and I just don't want to put that on everyone for them to understand I'm your new conqueror.
No, he's fucking worried that
I'm
he's
not worried at all.
That it's gonna be like he's like 75% Turkish.
I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
First of all, you can't be Turkish. Being Turkish is a fake identity.
Okay, Albanian.
Albanian is even faker. You're just a bunch of Turkic horse lords that settled in a former Greek colony. Okay, you're not even. You're in the steppe.
What is it?
You have no culture,
what's
no
that?
marble. Where the fuck are the Turkish marbles?
Wait, hold
your
on.
best building is our old fucking church that you stole. That's the best fucking building you cocksuckers have. So fuck you.
Yeah, where is that? Where is that church? Former church?
It's in
What's it called?
Constantinople.
Yeah, it's called Istanbul, right?
It's in Constantinople.
That's
Fuck
right.
you.
That's
Build your
right.
own shit, you fucking thieves.
1453.
You horse thieves.
1453, best year of my fucking life, baby.
1821, we needed a little time to get ready, and then we came out and we fucked your asses up, dude.
Yeah,
we got it
improved
back.
it. We
and
improved it.
We took a couple of things from your cuisine and we made it better.
Oh,
okay.
hell
We took
no.
a couple ideas and we fucking improved it to the maximum, dude.
1453, best year of my life. It's called Istanbul now, and it's called Hagia Sophia. Okay.
Hagia Sophia. Where do you get that from?
Yeah. It's just
You stole it.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers couldn't build something so beautiful if you had 100 fucking years.
now
to do it.
Now it's a mosque, baby. You already know.
Good. Well, that was part of the plan.
We made it out the steps.
None of those prayers get to Allah. They stop at Jesus. You're in one of our buildings.
There's a cutoff for it. It's like,
it's
no.
a trick. You think they're getting to Allah, but no, we're taking them. And we're supercharging the one true God, Greek Orthodox Christ, who is different than Catholic Christ.
He
doesn't
Catholic.
fuck kids. That's the big difference. None of his boys fuck kids.
Greeks famously never fuck kids.
We got that out of our system. We got that out of our system before God got to us. When it was still Zeus and Hercules, we got that out of our... Look, boys will be boys in ancient Greece, okay? Once God got around, we were like, all right, we're done with that. We're going to leave that to the Catholics now. That's documented. That's history, dude.
Yeah, they weren't able to.
We got it out of our system.
The pleasures of childish flesh.
It was a different time.
Yeah, it was normal back then. It was really good
time.
Oh man. Anyway, okay, all right. Listen, Hassan, don't laugh. The most Greek pedophilia happened on Crete.
Is that so?
Okay. Crete is where my
right. That's
grandmother,
exactly right.
My grandma's
you
from
are
Crete.
a Greek. That's the thing. You're a pretender.
But
You're a great sign that being Turkish is fake. You're a Greek who just fucking had a couple doner kebabs.
It's gonna be really funny when it comes out, when you do the 22andMe, not 23, and it comes out that you're fucking Turkish.
I will not have a fucking drop of Turkish blood.
Yeah,
inside
they're gonna
me.
be like, damn,
straight from the fucking Acropolis.
Yeah, just wait, bro. Just wait. It'll happen.
I have the blood of Hercules coursing in my veins.
You should do it though. I think it'd be funny. Give the government your.
I won't do it, man.
They already probably have your ID. They probably do.
They probably do.
But yeah,
they could honeypot me and get it through jizz.
But yeah, Trump was talking about the brand new Tesla that he's going to buy today to show support amid a left-wing boycott. He said that it's like leftists that are boycotting. He wants to make it illegal. You can't boycott Israel and you can't boycott Teslas. I don't know what's next.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
These fucking poor hillbillies, man, that are fucking losing. They're losing like funding for local education and all this shit. Now they have to pretend that Teslas are something they love, and they don't just want to use Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah,
like they want. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah, they spent most of their year. They spent most of their life calling electric vehicles gay, like woke libtard shit. Only to now turn around and be like, "Nah, I love that. It's actually patriotic, sir."
To switch up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the economy is fucking collapsing. It's great.
Damn.
Great stuff overall. Donald
Folks,
Trump is
buy tickets to the Dreamboat Tour while you still can.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. While the economy is still going. This might be the last time you can come to a comedy show.
I thought your I thought this was your best set.
Thank
so
you,
far.
brother.
It was really good.
Thanks,
like
man.
all the old one is like this one.
Yeah,
was,
man.
This one was actually
good.
Well,
some of us are artists that try and get better at our craft, not dickheads that spend 12 hours just kind of sleepwalking through our job. And we know that Zoomers without a good relationship with their father have nothing better to do, and they stole someone's fucking credit card and it's on auto renew. So some of us kind of have to actually progress as artists.
You gotta make a living
over
somehow.
and over again.
Okay, you gotta make a living somehow. Oh man, you had John Mulaney open for you. Which
Mulaney
is crazy.
Mulaney popped out. Yeah, he's the man. His show.
It's wild. It's tricky making a better comic open for you.
Yeah, I won't even. There's no debate there. He's the fucking man.
Yeah,
watch Mulaney's show, but I'll plug Mulaney's show, folks.
Oh yeah, he did.
It's
he
live
has a Netflix
on.
Show, right?
It's live on Netflix. He's doing something really interesting where it's actually a live talk show because all these other talk shows are fucking
it's interesting
annoying.
to have a live talk show.
Yeah, well, an actual production. Again, an actual production.
This fucking guy.
Not a webcam. You got just because you got a more expensive webcam. Let's not pretend.
This is Netflix approved. These cameras are.
I'm sure this is going on Netflix. Well, the day you're on Netflix is the day culture is dead. By the way, the day they just cave and put streamers on television.
No,
we're all fucked.
We would be fucking cooked. I don't disagree with you there. I think that'd be awful.
No, he's got fucking. I think on the first show, Michael Keaton, Fred Armisen.
Are you gonna be on it?
We're trying to figure something out. I'm gonna try and get on this season.
Okay,
he's the man though. Mulaney's so fucking funny, and that show's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see you on it, especially.
Hey, well,
yeah,
I
that's
can't
right,
wait.
John. I know he watches. So.
Yo, he's a big.
Yeah, he's a big time.
He's a big
Hasanabi head.
Yeah, he was starstruck, dude.
Jake Paul got a Max show. That's true, but isn't that like about boxing?
No,
or
that's
some
it's
shit?
like a reality show, dude.
Yeah,
they trolled everyone thinking those guys were gonna fight each other, and then they were like, oh, it's actually them, you know, I don't know, swimming in their pool.
I've done a cameo on a Netflix like true crime documentary or something. I don't know.
Really?
That's what some chatters are saying. Here I'm gonna show you guys something. I was on Theo Von's podcast, as you guys know.
Shout out to my boy.
The leftist Joe Rogan, Stavros Halkias was also on the Theo Von podcast, but there was a point. And now he is doing the mallet. There was a point where I actually brought you up. I wonder. Let me see if I can find it through the transcript real quick, because I want you to address this.
Interesting.
I want you to address the daggers that I threw your fucking way.
Oh, okay, man.
Wait, is there? How do you find the transcripts now?
Nice, man. That's how you insult someone. Find a video where you had your shit together enough to get it all out. Don't do it in front of a man's face.
Yeah.
Just find a time where you insulted me and play it.
How do I find it? I wonder. I got the transcript in front of me, but it's not showing up.
Dumbass alert.
I wonder if I can figure out exactly where
Dumbass
it was. Like towards the end. Air traffic controls. Man, I've been talking about some boring ass shit, dude.
Boomer fake turd.
Boring, nerdy ass shit.
Boomer
Is
fake
at the
turd.
very end?
Washed.
Yeah, let's see. What do we got? I think it was like $170,000.
A corner where you can express care.
You're just
Hassan Piker,
around,
thanks so
dude.
much, dude.
Wow, dude,
I'd
that's
love
good. That was really funny.
Okay.
Where he says,
shut the
thank you
fuck
so
up.
much, and
This
you guys
is called
leave.
live production, all right? It's not fucking
This
easy.
is why your show sucks.
It's not easy, bro. It's not.
It's actually so hilariously easy.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking easy. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
You're a comedian as well. I'm obviously very good friends with Stavi as well. I know
very
you.
good to stretch.
Always,
Yeah, I fucking lied. I lied. I
Good to
lied
stretch.
straight to his face. I was like, he's my fucking enemy. Okay.
Yeah, he's
go
cool.
with him.
Damn, he said he's cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy that he said you're cool.
But
He
the
mailed
thing,
me some cookies his mother made him.
oh, dude, me too. Yeah,
Did he?
when he was out here,
Oh, okay.
I ate all of it. Oh, you did?
You got mad. You gave me the cookies too. You fucking slut. Yeah,
I
he's
give
been
my boys
farming.
cookies.
He's been farming those Greek cookies.
Yeah, I can't
them?
make
I
my
know.
boys cookies.
Yeah, no.
I liked them. I'm just sad that they're bipartisan snacks he's sending out. But no, I'm joking. No.
Listen,
no.
he's been-
it was
he's
so
been-
sweet of him. It was just only friend of mine that did that. Very
Yeah.
sweet of him.
He also
He's like, my mother wants to see this. Just fucking good.
did he also shill his fucking calendars, his naked calendars? Give me those shits have been sitting on my desk every
Yeah,
time.
right.
I'll have like.
Let's pull them
Bro,
out.
I'll have like prominent figures like activists and shit at my house, and I'm interviewing
do I
them. Like there was
embarrass you
Motaz
in front of this
Aziza.
Bro, yeah, you got like,
Fuck you.
I had fucking Motaz Aziza who survived a genocide in Gaza, and he's sitting there, and your fucking naked belly is right in front of him.
That's all right.
I'm interviewing him. He
Again,
literally
Greek
survived the
culture.
genocide. He's a photojournalist from Gaza. And fucking Stavi's naked body is just sitting there on the fucking desk. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
I had to like,
That's what you get for not displaying it more
I had to
proudly.
like awkwardly hide it, like just like throw some napkins on it. Like, don't look over there. I was like,
He would have been stimulated by my art.
fucked up. It's fucked up. Being friends with Stavi is fucked up. That's why you can't trust the Greeks.
Oh, now that
Okay?
look,
Let
finally
me tell you, as
something
a
that we're
Turkish man, let me tell you.
what to
both
do.
sided agreement on right there.
Yeah, bipartisanship on that front for sure.
Fuck you
Cannot
guys.
trust.
Fuck Turks and fuck Louisiana hillbillies.
yeah,
You
he
both
gave
can
it
suck
to-
my dick.
He gave it to the Greeks, dude. That's
both
right.
can suck
That's
my
why I wanted
fucking
to
dick.
show you.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck
These
you
Greeks.
guys.
Yeah, the third month of his calendar is Gorgonzola or whatever. I'm like, this seems like fucking. It was like January, February, March, April, baklava, June, July. I'm like, that seems.
That's the other thing. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with baklava,
stealing my
great
people's
month.
food, saying it's his.
Oh, the
Turkish
Fucking
bro.
mind. You're so out of your fucking mind. We took your little primitive
That's
recipes and we made them delicious.
Yeah, I made
Your dip sucked. Tzatziki's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You don't even, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out of
It's
here.
mellow macarona, not cookies.
Melo macarona.
Mellow macarona.
Meli. What is that? It means fucking honey in Greek. Pussy.
Meli.
Melo macarono.
Mellow maca. Is it macarona or macarono?
Melo macarono is a singular.
Stop
Macarona
looks
is more
like
than one.
he'd give you cookies if you robbed him.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I'd fuck
you
you up
rob
if
him
you
and
robbed
you
me,
get cookies
dude.
out of his pockets.
I'd fuck your ass up, dude. I'd elbow your ass.
M Hood's calling you out, dude.
It's Turkish.
We'll have to talk about that next time. Would you have Trump on if he would podcast
Fuck
with you?
yeah.
Do you feel like you're that far removed from getting to talk to guys like that? No.
No, I mean I've talked. Well,
You'd
I mean,
have
you talked to
Trump on,
Sam.
dude.
What?
You would do Trump? You
Fuck
you
yeah.
have him on here?
Dude, hold on.
I
Fuck yeah, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's the big dog. Hey, yeah. I would. It's just it's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
because he doesn't. He only goes on podcasts where like
he is shrewd media. He actually does have great media literacy.
Yeah,
where he knows who's gonna glaze him.
Yeah, he's not gonna go on a podcast like
Plus
like
you're an
he'll go on- he'll go on-
anti-Semite.
Yeah, well, I don't.
And
think
he loves Jews historically too.
He does. Yeah, but like in a way where he's like, they're the magic money guys.
yeah.
They got so much money and power. They control the media. I love it.
Yeah, he thinks of different ethnicities the way you like they do Dungeons and Dragons characters.
Yeah.
Where it's like he wants a Jew to look at his coins. He wants like a gay guy to dress him. You know what I mean? Like he's that's how he thinks of
Yeah,
different
they get
types
racial
of people.
passives, but I would have Trump on, but he would never come on.
Yeah.
because I would definitely have some questions. But it's the
Yeah.
same reason why like Democrats won't come on here either.
Yeah, true.
Like Kamala Harris not coming on my podcast because like the fuck,
What's she up to, man?
dude.
What do you think her and Doug are up to?
I don't fucking know. I thought that they were on the outs a little bit after the election failures. I think that Kamala's team was like trying to say there was a brief moment where Kamala's team was claiming that like Doug's controversies, which by the way, apparently he had controversies.
What were
I didn't know
they?
that, bro.
Other than his
That man apparently.
What's Doug up to?
Apparently he had like a case of abuse or something, of a formal like spousal abuse or some shit.
Oh shit.
Which is crazy. Like he
On
seems
her or
like-
somebody in the past?
No, not Kamala. I
yeah.
feel like Kamala would beat his ass.
Yeah, probably.
But I also like I was just like shocked to hear that because he comes across like such a timid dude. Or
Yeah,
no, he
but
had an
still.
affair, which is even weirder.
I don't think
Wait,
it's
let
weird.
me see.
It's one of the most human things.
No, for Doug, I mean.
If your partner is some weird politician, you're not gonna want to try and get a little pussy on the side.
Let me
a little carefree
let
pussy
me
on
see
the
if I can
side.
find it. Doug Fair, Kamala. Emhoff acknowledges affair during first marriage after
Oh, first
tabloid report.
marriage. Who gives a fuck?
But like, look at. Do you think he doesn't strike me as the type of dude? Unless the affair was with
Everyone
a dude.
likes getting pussy, dude.
Unless it was an affair
Everyone
with
likes
I
getting.
think Doug is gay.
Oh, you see, interesting.
Oh yeah, no, I was a Doug is a beard truther.
Well, then that's even more.
Or Kamala's a beard, I guess technically.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. I would, maybe sucking guys off. Good for him, man.
Yeah, but apparently it was like he had a affair with a babysitter or something, and the Kamala Harris campaign was basically claiming
That's why they lost.
That this is why they lost, and it's like, dude, nobody knew that
Yeah,
this
they-
was a thing.
nobody-
Even
yeah.
conservatives weren't fucking talking about this shit. I
Also,
don't
it's
think.
like, oh, they lost to Trump.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy
Yeah.
cheated. Are
The
we fucking
the
kidding?
upstanding moral beacon, Donald Trump. That's what cooked the Democrats. Speaking of Democrats, I'm gonna switch gears here for a
Switch gears,
second,
man.
and we're gonna talk about some serious stuff. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not staying long. I just wanted to pop in and
You're
say
like, I'm
hi.
gonna fuck off anyway.
I'm
Yeah, in
gonna
a
leave. I
second.
gotta get on the tour bus, head to Fresno.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. That sounds like a fantastic experience.
It's gonna be whatever.
You like the tour bus though? I
Tour
asked you
bus
about it.
fucking rules, dude.
Yeah,
tour bus life fucking rules, dude.
Yeah, you been getting laid on the tour bus?
I have not. I have yet to get slurped off on the bus.
Okay.
But it's been a nice tour.
Okay.
If anybody's interested in applying
For a slurp
for the
job?
reverse slurp,
Okay.
contact Hassan directly.
Yeah, no, I got you. Don't worry. Hell yeah, brothers. Stavi and Fresno. No one has ever been excited
Tomorrow.
to be in Fresno.
Tomorrow we got tickets to the late show.
Yeah.
Still available. First show sold out. We got a couple for the late show if you're in Fresno. And then for some reason, my agents put me in Bakersfield the next day. It is not. I'll be honest with you guys. I am not selling a fucking ticket in Bakersfield. It's gonna be half empty.
Bro,
so
free
if you're
meth,
in
free meth.
Bakersfield, come
Chatters,
through.
Bakersfield heads, free meth if you go to the Bakersfield show.
But
That's
after
what
that,
I
we're
heard.
going to Phoenix and Vegas, and then next at the second half of the tour, Chicago, Minneapolis, Nashville. We're going to a lot of cool places. Stavi.biz, folks.
Shitting on Bakersfield.
Oh, it's gonna suck dick. I'm fully prepared for that.
I thought someone said, "Oh shit!" I thought Bakersfield would be sold out.
Nah, dude.
It
ain't. Let me tell you this right now. It ain't fucking sold out. They put that. I feel like might just put that there to humble me, to remind me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you can have a great show in LA, but you're gonna go get your teeth kicked in fucking Bakersfield.
I'm sure you'll make it work.
It'll be fun. It actually will be fun.
But switching gears away from the tour real quick, we're gonna talk about Mahmoud Khalil.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who this person is, but
I think I saw what happened.
Yeah,
where they
you're-
just
you're fucking
completely
woke.
they completely just fucking disappeared a guy.
Yeah.
He had a green card, right?
Yeah, so Mahmoud Khalil is a Columbia University student who is a
I
who
love
has
freedom.
who
I
has
love
a green card.
It's
yeah.
cool. It's cool that protesting, these cocksuckers that we're talking about, it's so pathetic. Everyone was talking about, and I get so pissed at fucking comedians who were pretending that like
Yeah.
Trump was gonna be the free speech candidate. You fucking morons! And now they're just fucking black bagging essentially a guy who was protesting. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. And it's like what's been crazy about it so far is that they broke in. Initially, they thought that he was on a student visa,
right? Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, he has a green card, actually. Fuck it, black bag him regardless." They didn't tell his lawyer or his wife, who is an American citizen, who was 8 months pregnant.
Oh my god.
Whether or not, like where he was, where his whereabouts were. They immediately took him out of the state into New Jersey, and then quickly sent him to Louisiana because they
Holy
judge shop.
fuck.
And there's like a judge there that they consider is more,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Louisiana judges will allow us to deport him.
Yeah.
Apparently, they also threatened to arrest his wife, and that sort of thing. There was another student protester, a student activist who was with the UAW that they also tried to nab as well in the process. But they basically kidnapped this guy, okay? And what's been interesting about this is they're not even like trying to make up a good reason for why they did it. And they're just simply saying like, nah, he was protesting Israel. That's not allowed.
Which is fucking nuts, dude.
Which is fucking insane. Exactly.
This is the point where it's like we can't even pretend anymore. This is fucking straight up. We're not on the route to fascism. This is it. And if they're not even pretending, it's almost worse to not try and have, like, at least George Bush would pretend there was some legal reason to torture people. They, at least Dick Cheney would get on the phone and be like, tell them it's for this reason. Now they're just like, no, we can fucking do it.
Yeah,
we're so fucked, dude.
Completely psychotic, and their defense of it has been like abysmal overall. Where there's reporting that's coming out that first of all they're talking to the Free Press. White House official told the Free Press, which is Barry Weiss's institution.
That's great. That dumb bitch called it the Free Press.
Yeah.
The not lying newspaper.
Yeah, which so free, where they actively work to if you're anyone of Arab descent, their entire goal is to make sure that you never get a job ever again.
God damn, dude.
So White House official told the Free Press that the basis for targeting Khalil is being used as a blueprint for investigations against other students.
Other students for protesting in fucking America. You pieces of shit.
Protesting in America, not even against America, by the way, against a fucking foreign country, which is psychotic. Anyway, Khalil is a threat to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States, said the official, noting that this calculation was the driving force behind the arrest. The allegation here is not that he was breaking the law. So they openly are just saying, like, they're openly admitting he's not even breaking the law. We just don't like that he is critical of Israel.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and the state so far the State Department has not publicly disclosed the specific evidence on which it based its decision to order the arrest of Khalil, who is a green card holder. The INA provision explicitly says people shall not be excludable or subject to restrictions or conditions on entry into the United States because of their past, current, or expected beliefs, statements, or associations, if such belief statements or associations will be lawful within the United States, but it allows for an exception. If the Secretary of State personally determines that the alien's admission will compromise...
Personally?
Yeah.
Who made this cock? Who is it? Is it Rubio?
Well, I mean, I guess they're just like giving a lot of extra power to the head of the State Department if they are like, yeah, this one guy, I don't like his fucking vibes.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And the Board of Immigration Appeals has said that under the provision the State Department is using to detain Khalil, a letter from the Secretary of State conveying the Secretary's determination that an alien's presence in this country would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. Just off vibes? Yeah. Just off fucking vibes in general.
This is fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah. And it's it's pretty. Republican call Sarah McBride miss. Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay, Jesus Christ. Yeah, they're also being transphobic, but just wait. Let me focus on this real quick. But yeah, it is. I think it's a wild admission. This is from Zeteo News. That they're just actively saying like he didn't do anything. He didn't like violate any crimes whatsoever. 13 representatives have signed they've come out and made a statement officially saying
13, that's it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's
14,
fucking nuts.
But they closed it apparently before they could release it. I don't know why it's not like an open petition.
This is fucking pathetic. If the Democrats can't even do this.
Because like AOC and stuff were not on this. The 14 Congress members who signed the letter. But like there are... Representative AOC's chief of staff confirms that the letter was still open. She would sign it. But basically, yeah, 14 of the 535 voting members of Congress, including Palestinian American Representative Rashida Tlaib, have signed a letter calling on the Trump administration to immediately release Mahmoud Khalil. They warned the administration's illegal actions set a dangerous precedent and shred constitutional rights to free speech and due process.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is like, what I find very interesting about this is that like, obviously, one of the things that like AIPAC and the Israel lobby does very well is basically, move in the direction of like violating Constitution, like the First Amendment, for example. But they don't do it like this outwardly.
Yeah.
Even though like they've quietly been able to lobby Congress and state representatives to basically to make it illegal to protest against Israel in like 36 states at this point, which is crazy. Whenever I talk to any American, doesn't matter what their opinions are, motherfuckers who think like all Arabs are strapped with a TNT to their vest. When I say that, they go, "What the fuck do you mean it's illegal to protest the state of Israel in 30 plus states?" So it's one of those things that like AIPAC gets away with because they do it quietly. This right here directly is happening in broad daylight. Like this very obvious shredding of the First Amendment and numerous other laws really is happening in broad daylight. And I think that this is going to make people go insane.
Hopefully, that's the scary thing. If this doesn't, what the fuck will?
Yeah. And it's interesting because like the White House is like typing out shalom while they're talking about like this is dude, if you're a Nazi, this is your heyday.
Yeah.
Okay. You literally are just like, see everything we've been saying.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got the White House writing shalom when they're talking about fucking deporting an American legal permanent resident. Like it's psychotic. You know what I mean?
Insane, yeah.
It's like,
well, Trump's got to build the fucking Riviera, dude.
Yeah, I think it was Noah who said something like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Noah tweeted about this where he was like, this is like a David Duke fantasy that the White House is just like actively contributing to. Where it's like, hold on.
It's fucking insane, man.
Yeah. What is this? Where
and just this fucking guy. It's like, first of all, protesting and freedom of speech. It's like, you should be, that's the whole point of this fucking country. Is you can say whatever the fuck you want and the king can't fuck your ass.
You can literally.
That's the whole point.
That's the other side of this. Like, you could literally be like, Hamas is fucking awesome. And
you should be able to do that. That's the whole point of a free society.
Yeah. What are we doing here? Where
and it's like, say Nazi shit. I agree with it. But like, the whole point is you should be able to say horrific fucking shit. Not that we're saying this is horrific, but it's like,
you can say
protest.
Horrific,
that's the whole fucking point.
Yeah. You can say horrific shit. And then other people can also say horrific shit back to you. But like the federal government is not supposed to literally arrest you. That is the whole point.
The entire idea.
It's not a violation of the First Amendment when like private enterprise decides like, oh, you can't fucking, say this or whatever. It's shitty. And it certainly covers back speech in the avenues where you can use your speech, right? But you can't fucking, as long as the federal government doesn't go, hey, we're throwing you in jail for saying this, and it's a thing that I don't like you saying, then, that's still technically in defense of the First Amendment. We've completely dropped that. Yeah, tamping down on anti-Semitism by cutting NIH funding, National Institute of Health funding, and explicitly saying it's because of Israel is something David Duke came up with.
For real. Yes. Yeah. And now when everything gets worse, they have that they're setting up a couple boogeymen right now.
Yeah. And and this is happening at a time when, like, obviously people are people are not too fond of Israel to begin with. Like, even Republicans are not super hot on Israel. And they're like the one group that remains that is like unconditionally dick riding Israel into oblivion, like the evangelicals, right?
Right. Because they think God can only come back when Jews control that part. Like, it's so nuts how much of our foreign policy.
It's like fucking anime.
It's
like,
fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah.
But yes, I do agree.
But them like slapping fucking shalom every time they do some shit like this.
Why are they doing that? That's nuts.
Like, I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. I think he's just like, they're just flexing, I guess. They don't give a fuck if like people see this and go, oh my God, this is like incredibly, this is it. Jews are actually controlling the White House.
Is that literally the fucking plan? I don't understand this shit.
Yeah.
This is fucking nuts, dude. This shit has gone quick. These motherfuckers are not wasting any fucking time.
Yeah. But one of the other sides of this is that, like, the Democrats looking at the situation, that will absolutely not just stay to, like, people of Arab descent, but will extend to,
of course,
anti-Zionist Jews as well, and then all minority groups eventually when they feel like different groups are fucking being annoying to the Trump administration, are doing a horrible job fighting against this. Look at this shit. This is what Chuck Schumer's response was, which is psychotic. Like, this is the most psychotic response of all time.
The fact that it's 3 paragraphs.
Well,
the fact that it's not, this is insane, or just something is crazy.
Yeah, he Felix had some choice words for it, which I'll get to in a second. Okay. But he goes, I abhor many of the opinions and policies of Mahmoud Khalil.
That's where we start, you fucking piece of shit. You start with talking about him being a fucking asshole?
Yeah.
Are you fucking out of your mind?
This guy's a real terrorist.
Oh my fucking
Trump
God.
is right. He has hurt the feelings of Israel. And
my fucking God. We're so fucked. It's insane.
Yeah, and have made my criticisms of the anti-Semitic actions at Columbia loudly known.
Anti-Semitism in the first fucking sentence? When a guy gets fucking disappeared in America?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mr. Khalil is also a legal permanent resident here, and his wife, who's 8 months pregnant, is an American citizen. While he may well be in violation of various campus rules regarding how the protests were conducted last year, that is a matter for the university to pursue.
Oh my God. Like, this motherfucker went beyond states' rights and went university rights.
Yeah.
This is a matter for the universities.
It's also fucking psychotic because, like, none of what he's saying is correct.
Yeah.
Like, the entire purpose for why the student activists chose Mahmoud Khalil to represent them is because he is, like, the most balanced. Like, he doesn't like pop off or say anything that could be misconstrued. Like, a lot of student activists have been very good at messaging discipline in an effort to not give any sort of to give any sort of fucking leeway to, like, people claiming that they're being anti-Semitic. And what's incredibly frustrating is, and I know this fucking personally, obviously, from all of the people that claim that I'm also a vicious, rabid anti-Semitic Islamist fundamentalist, Hamas, Hezbollah supporter, or whatever the fuck, is that you don't have to really say anything. All you have to say is that you're against Israel, that you are anti-Israel, that you're an anti-Zionist, and that's all it takes for these guys. But at this stage, they're not even trying to fucking clip chimp my man. They're just basically saying no, he's a vicious anti-Semite, but also he shouldn't be deported.
But, like, the fact that this is the opposition,
the
opposition, like, this motherfucker should be saying how this is illegal and that Trump should get arrested if they do this. That's like, they should be talking about how they're tearing up the Constitution, not starting with talking about how bad student protesting is for Israel. It's so fucking pathetic.
There's, like, validity.
Even if you believe that, right? Even if you fucking believe that, it's like, your job is to fucking provide some kind of opposition to these people. And no matter what you do, you're not allowed to fucking just kidnap a permanent resident. You're not allowed to do it to anyone, theoretically, but definitely not a guy who's here on fucking, legally.
On a green card. And he's then he goes
So
on to talk
fucking
about, like, I've
pathetic,
encouraged
man.
them to be much more robust in how they combat anti-Semitism, maintain harassment-free campus that protects the safety and security of Jewish and other students. The Trump administration's DHS must articulate any criminal charges or facts that would justify his detention.
Oh my God!
Give us a
dude.
reason, please.
Please, Daddy. Please don't let me be. Please.
Give us a reason as to why you blackbagged this dude beyond the fact that you don't like his vibes.
Oh
Which
my
I agree.
God.
I don't like his
And
vibes
he's
either.
a weird guy. He's giving me the ick.
Yeah, I don't like his vibes either, but like, please tell me why it's appropriate.
This is so fucking
Please tell me
pathetic,
why it's
man.
appropriate to fucking blackbag this guy. Is
We want to
crazy.
suck your cock. Can you just fluff it for us, Mr. Trump?
Like,
I'd love to choke on your nuts.
Unacceptable levels of capitulation. Is just like completely psychotic.
God, I fucking hate him. I hate
If the administration cannot prove he has violated any criminal law, justify taking the severe action and is doing it for the opinions he's expressed, then that is wrong. It took
That's
3
the wrong
paragraphs.
part.
It took 3 paragraphs to get to like, oh, it's just wrong to detain him. Like, this is literally worse than if Chuck Schumer just like stood quietly.
For sure.
They are violating the First Amendment protections we all enjoy. You should drop this wrong-headed action.
I mean, if this isn't proof that the Democratic Party's done, I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
is.
Felix
They're
said-
just completely done.
Yeah, to which Felix responded, I've seen a lot of very qualified defenses of Mahmoud Khalil from libertarians who are opposing this solely on legal grounds. And Coulter had a fucking better statement about Mahmoud Khalil than Chuck Schumer. Okay?
Pathetic.
How
Pathetic.
fucking psychotic. Like, Ann Coulter
Fucking
was like,
pathetic.
Ann Coulter literally came out and was like, I've never seen a motherfucker I don't want deported.
Yeah.
I
I love
I
deporting.
flick my bean to
I
deportations.
love when fucking other ethnicities leave America.
Like, she literally was like, but it seems like this is just because he's against Israel. Like, that's what she said. It's crazy. None of them took this much time to express how much of a supposed anti-Semitic rule breaker they find him, as Chuck Schumer does here. Fucking astounding. The other side of the story, of course, is that a member of Chuck Schumer's caucus, obviously, the recipient of a heart attack, brain concussion gun that turned him conservative and pro-Israel, John Fetterman, worked with a sex offender to effectively enact the most restrictive and draconian speech laws in the entire Western world. One of the people involved in the kidnapping of Khalil was Ross Glick. Have you seen this fucking guy?
No.
Brace has been around him in the past. He's like some rabid freak from an organization called Beitar that openly and actively say they're Kahanas, which is like used to be considered a terror group by fucking Israel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my God.
That's how fucking freak like these dudes are, that even the Israeli state was like, we love killing Palestinians, but you
Like,
guys
come
are a
on,
little
guys,
too
chill.
invested. Yeah. And this fucking neo-Nazi terrorist, okay, that does like that actively and openly does this like doxing operation that is now saying that they're working with the Department of Homeland Security to create lists of people that are on student visas that
fucking
are
ridiculous,
criticizing
man.
Israel. Like, that's what they're doing. You got these rabid ultra-Zionist freaks creating lists of people with names to go and tell the fucking fascist government who to deport. How do you not see the irony in this,
This is nuts.
as an organization that calls themselves a Jewish organization? Like, how do you not put 2 and 2 together? I don't
Governments of
know.
the state knocking on doors and saying,
Yeah.
any Palestinians here?
Yeah.
Any Palestinians on visas here? And the fact that they're like, even those guys are like, well, at least they have to have visas.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy it's on a fucking green card.
Yeah, and he appears to have a close working relationship with Senator John Fetterman. Ross Glick, a pro-Israel activist who previously shared a list of campus protesters with federal immigration authorities, said that he was in Washington, D.C. for meetings with members of the Congress during the Barnard Library demonstration and discussed Khalil with aides to Senator Ted Cruz and John Fetterman, who promised to escalate the issue. He said that some members of Columbia's board also had reported Khalil to officials. This unfolded very quickly because it was obvious, Glick said in an interview Monday. Everybody was upset. He recalled of his meetings in the Hill. The guy was making it too easy for us. Yeah.
So fucking ridiculous, man. We're
His
so
website
fucked.
prominently features a fake legal notice informing visitors that he is not a convicted sex criminal. Yeah. Public notice and legal warning. Upon information and belief, false and defamatory statements against Ross Glick have been posted online in various sources such as New York Post and Palestinian News Network.
The New York Post.
Yeah, the New York Post
The
is
New
against
York
this guy.
Post says this guy's a fucking pervert.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Well, it takes one to know one. You know what I mean? Like, they were just jealous of his revenge porn operation.
Was
They
that
were
what
like,
he's doing?
Yeah.
What a piece of shit, man.
Yeah, this is the New York Post article. The disturbing story behind New York City's revenge porn perpetrators.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
Ross Glick.
I mean, he looks like such a piece of shit.
Yeah. Cool stuff overall. The Beitar USA account is insane. No, I know. They are just like, our war is with Gaza, not Hamas, the people of Gaza. It's
wow.
crazy.
Just saying it, man.
Oh, yeah, no, they just, and the Department of Homeland Security is working with them. Like, at the behest of a foreign nation. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
This is so fucking pathetic. This is so fucking, like, aren't they smashing the turbo button a little too fast? Doesn't it feel like they're going to run out of NOS pretty soon?
What I don't understand is how these dummies have deluded themselves into thinking that these guys who keep saying America was founded on Judeo-Christian values are not going to turn around and be like, just kidding. It's just founded on Christian values, dumbass. Like, what do you think happens to you in that situation? You know what I mean?
Something cool.
They're going to be like, ooh, let's seize the assets of all these wealthy Jews. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's coming. That's the next step here. And it's so weird that these dudes are like, nah, we'll be fine. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, I just think, are they even thinking about that? Or are they just like, we have an opportunity to finally steal Gaza? You know what I mean? Like, to kill everyone. Like, are they even thinking about that?
Yeah.
Or do they just think like, eye on the prize, let's, you know, especially these Beitar fucking freaks. Are they like, let's finish this genocide? We'll
they're a
figure it out.
501c3 registered nonprofit that takes tax-deductible donations, by the way.
Blood in God. We demand, I mean, these are fucking
and this is in response to, these are the names of the Palestinian babies Israel killed before they reached their first birthday. Unfortunately, it's likely an undercount. And they're like, no, we want more of it. We want more baby blood.
Jesus
it's like,
fucking Christ.
I can't think of a worse way to just look at like thousands of years of anti-Semitic propaganda.
Yeah.
Like Beitar coming out and being like, no, we love drinking the blood of children.
It's so fucked
is
up.
like an insane way to operate. Like, it just doesn't make any sense when you're just saying like, no, all the blood libel actually that has fucking historically caused pogroms we are going to take ownership over it and say it's real. We're doing it.
We're gonna treat it like the N-word and reclaim it. We're gonna treat it like it's gonna be cool to do it now.
It is straight up. It is straight the fuck up. Like just the purest fantasies of a David Duke style person to behave like this, and the administration is leaning into it, which is also wild.
Yeah, it's not even like you know, sort of like implied support. It's just so hysterically like, oh yeah, we're gonna supercharge this. I mean, the AI shit was the AI fucking video.
The AI the AI Gaza video? Yeah. What is this? Free all the hostages have been tortured, starved, raped, beaten, and still in tunnels in Gaza by Hamas since October 7th, 2023. That's what he quote retweeted the Senate Judiciary Democrats with.
Insane.
2 minutes ago.
What the fuck are we talking about, man?
I hate this fucking
You're a
piece
fucking
of shit.
U.S. senator.
No, he's just Felix calls him the golem.
What did happen to this guy? What happened to him?
He got hit with he had a fucking aneurysm, dude. That's what it is. And it like unironically made him pro-Israel and incredibly fucking conservative.
It's crazy that a fucking
brain damage.
The
dude.
one time a Turk should have won, I guess. I didn't even know anybody's politics. Of course, I was against Dr. Oz for Turkish reasons, and I had no idea what Fetterman stood for. But I guess
probably would have been better.
Even Dr. Oz would have been better.
Here's House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries' statement on Mahmoud Khalil. Once again, doing the same thing that Chuck Schumer did. Mahmoud Khalil is a legal permanent resident whose wife, an American citizen, is 8 months pregnant. Okay, starts off strong.
Yeah. But still,
to the extent his actions were inconsistent with Columbia University policy and created an unacceptable hostile academic environment for Jewish students and others, there is a serious university disciplinary process that can handle the matter.
Who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck, you fucking idiots?
It's just like, dude, first of all, you have no evidence for this. Like, you're just fucking making shit up, okay? Students protesting at fucking Columbia campus, especially a campus that historically has had to right the wrongs of the way they treated their student protesters who were on the right side of history during the fucking Vietnam War. It is psychotic to turn around and be like, yeah, this time it's actually a severe violation. They should be not deported, but like they should be kicked out of the university. It's like fucking bullshit.
He should be kicked out and maybe go to jail, but this is too much.
Yeah, but in America, In the context of the arrest and detention of Mahmoud Khalil, the DHS must produce facts and evidence of criminal activity.
That's what they're begging for. They're literally like, please.
They're like, please
give us an out to support you.
Yeah, please give us a reason for why.
Even if you believed this and you were good at politics, you would understand the opportunity you have to make these people look like fascists, which is what they're doing. Even if you were just a cynical politician that was like, that does love Israel, you could be like, well, but we could nail fucking Trump here if we talked about how un-American he is, and we can get libertarians on our, like, but they're not even fucking shrewd enough to do that, or they're too scared. I don't even fucking know.
You know, both parties are unimaginably invested in dick riding Israel into oblivion, and here are the fucking results. You got smarter
Jesus
Republicans
Christ.
who are using the Israel conflation with anti-Semitism as an opportunity to do insane harm, as an opportunity to just completely erode what remains of the fucking First Amendment in this goddamn country. And the Democrats are championing it, or at most, they're basically being like, just do it by process, please, sir.
It's fucking pathetic, dude.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking crazy. Just with no other details, someone who's a legal permanent resident getting disappeared with no fucking information. That's it. We don't need to know anything fucking else. That's insane, and that should fucking scare everybody, dude.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous,
Such
dude.
fucking pussies, man.
Yeah.
We're so fucked. God damn. At least I get to go on my fucking tour bus and watch the Family Guy Freaking Sweet collection on DVD.
Yeah.
That'll help me out. That'll help me chill on my way to Fresno.
Are you out?
I'll give you 10 more minutes, man.
I pissed you off into...
you actually got me to care, and I'm pissed off now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
I was in a nice, not really paying attention to the news mode. I had forgotten how bad the world was. I was having fun doing stand-up comedy, and now I'm like, damn. By the time this tour is over, they might fucking deport Eldest for being a white Albanian Muslim.
Yeah. You think they're not coming after the Greeks? Just
Nah,
wait, bro.
we're too smart. We're
Just
too
fucking wait.
We're
dude.
too fucking smart,
you
dude.
think your Christianity will be a shield for you? Just wait until
I'm a baptized Greek Orthodox Christian. I've renounced Satan.
Just wait until they fucking.
We're too sharp.
Yeah.
We're too fucking sharp.
They're gonna say the Greek Orthodox Church is actually fake.
How dare you, man?
Yeah.
How dare you? All right, I gotta piss and get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. I'll be back next week,
Halkias,
probably.
everybody. What are you plugging? You got a show? You got some shows still?
Yeah, I have a ton of shows. The tour has just started. This is our second full week. I'm going all over the place. We have Vegas this weekend. We have Fresno, Bakersfield, Phoenix, and then next weekend, I don't fucking know where I'm going. Denver. We have a couple tickets for Denver left. And then, Oklahoma City, Nashville. Go to my website, stavi.biz. Chicago, Toronto, Montreal, a ton of them. Thank you, guys. You know what? I won't say anything that might get the stream in trouble, but, I'm feeling a little feisty after this news, but
yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Stavros Halkias, everybody. Let's Start a Cult is now also on Hulu. That's right. All right. You need help with hold on, I'll help you with the fucking door. Noise gate is top notch. Yeah, you already know, baby. All right, back to full cam. Please address the rat man calling vandalism terrorism, please. I already did. It's ridiculous. Hold on. I had to kiss him goodbye. All right. Getting back to the Colombia protests and the immigration arrest that took place, the ridiculous arrest that took place right now.
Immigration
I gotta
arrest
piss
of a
as well.
former student activist at one of the country's elite universities is causing an uproar. A judge has ordered that Mahmoud Khalil should stay in the U.S. until a court hearing tomorrow. Khalil is a Palestinian from Syria with a green card, allowing him to live in the United States. He's accused.
What? It's all muted? You're still muted? Dog, I think you're muted. My man accidentally... Wait, I'm silly. My Twitch was muted. That's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
Of anti-Semitic activity in last year's student-led protest that paralyzed the Columbia University campus.
I gotta pee.
Lilia Luciano has more.
Where is Mahmoud Khalil now?
Protests erupted in New York City Monday after last weekend's arrest of Columbia University activist Mahmoud Khalil.
Our movement is very, very large.
Khalil, who was a graduate student at the School of International and Public Affairs, was a prominent voice among the pro-Palestinian protests on campus last year. He had been briefly suspended for his role in the demonstrations before the school reversed its decision. Trump administration officials have said Khalil was arrested in support of the president's executive order tying his participation in the protest, which demanded that the university divest from Israel and called for the end of the war in Gaza with alleged anti-Semitism and support for Hamas.
Any resident alien who commits a crime is eligible for deportation.
But Khalil's attorneys say their client was wrongfully detained, saying federal agents incorrectly thought he was in the U.S. on a student visa, then arrested him anyway after learning he was a lawful permanent resident and were preparing to deport him until a judge temporarily blocked the order. Ramzi Qasim is a member of Khalil's legal team.
The Department of State and the Secretary of State do not have the power to revoke green cards. Only an immigration court can do that. Mr. Khalil has committed no crime.
Fellow protesters who know him deny Khalil did anything wrong. How did you meet him?
Being in the encampment, I met him several times, and he's just a very sweet guy, soft-spoken. I see him equally supporting Palestinian students, Arab students, Jewish students.
And student protesters told us Khalil's arrest has already had a chilling effect on free speech.
We've been really over-monitoring ourselves and our speech right now. Trying our best to just make sure it's not hurting any of our peers who are immigrants in any capacity.
According to ICE's detainee locating system, Khalil is being held at a detention facility in Louisiana. His lawyers, who say it's very unusual for him to be moved to another state, have filed a motion for him to be returned to New York.
Yeah, for the record, they did move him to another state exclusively because they were judge shopping and they knew that the Louisiana judge would be easier on the erroneous claims being made. That's why they sent him down to Louisiana, for the record. The entire purpose of this process is to create a chilling effect on speech. That's it. That's it. They want to stop you from protesting against Israel. They can't, but they will try to do everything in their power and erode the constitutional protections in the process to try to stop people from saying Israel is bad or Israel's in the wrong. We see smaller versions of this in the deplatforming efforts against all pro-Palestinian content creators from people who shamelessly defend Israel. I'll obviously be covering that in a second. Noah Samson, the YouTubers who backed the genocide, is his latest video, which I think covers all this stuff in a very decent way. But the denaturalization is like the last step of this process, where I feel like the first step of the process is, one, lying, consistently smearing anti-Zionist activists and claiming falsely that they are anti-Semitic. Okay. And then the second part of the process is to then go after some of the easier targets, like people that have less legal protections overall, something that can tie along with the agenda of the administration that's coming in. For example, immigration. So then you go after student activists that are on a student visa. Asman was going hard and demanding everyone to support this deportation and keep saying it's because he supports a terrorist org. Yeah, Asman Gold is a fucking idiot who doesn't understand the genuine consequences of this. This is a direct violation of the First Amendment, okay? That's number one. Number two, Asman Gold thinks a real violation of the First Amendment and free speech rules is when video game titties are 3 pixels smaller, okay? I'm sorry. If you're getting your notes from this person, you're a fucking moron, all right? That is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard from any human being. The idea that we should deport people that have offended the sensibilities of the apartheid state, a fucking whole-ass foreign nation, is ridiculous. No one, and I mean no one, who stands and defends this policy that the Trump administration is trying to implement and will most likely fail to implement can ever turn around and say that they're fucking pro free speech ever again. We already knew that nobody was really for free speech, but this is the most obvious instance of a violation of these principles. It's not when video game titties are smaller. It's when the federal government tries to implement criminal penalties for you exercising your fucking speech. That is a real violation. Doing it at the behest of Israel is also incredibly insane.
New York. His wife, a U.S. citizen who is 8 months pregnant, said in a statement that she wants him free, so he is, quote, holding my hand in the delivery room as we welcome our first child into this world. Gail.
Lilia, thank you.
More protests are expected today over the Trump administration's attempt to deport a pro-Palestinian activist. Mahmoud Khalil is accused of anti-Semitic activity for his role in helping lead demonstrations at Columbia University last year. ICE agents took him into custody over the weekend, and a federal judge blocked his deportation, at least for now, with a court hearing set for tomorrow. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano joins me here in Studio 55. Good to see you. So he has a green card. What is the Trump administration saying about trying to revoke it?
Well, first, the Trump administration has said that they revoked his green card. I talked to attorneys, including one of his attorneys, who say that the DHS does not have the authority to do that, that there needs to be a process, that there needs to be a court hearing, and that's in part what's leading to this hearing tomorrow. His attorneys are also very concerned about the fact that he was moved from New York to Louisiana. I asked what he used to.
Are you referring to revoking a green card as denaturalization? No, denaturalization is the process in which someone who either had a green card and became a naturalized citizen, or someone who was a natural-born U.S. citizen loses their citizenship status. A green card is technically not denaturalization. The revoking of a green card is technically not denaturalization because you are not a naturalized citizen. The point of a green card is that you will eventually become a naturalized citizen, and you will be able to vote and things of that nature. There's a couple additional protections that you get as a naturalized U.S. citizen. Okay? Are you scared, Hassan? No, I'm not fucking scared. I'm not. And stop asking me if I'm fucking scared, okay? This is not about me. You have to understand. Like, me withstanding anti-Semitic smears, like smears that I'm anti-Semitic or pro-terrorism or whatever, is not the same as someone with very little legal protections being deported for being made into like the first victim of this fucking fascist administration. There's a long way to go until they go to a fucking rich Twitch streamer. All right? It's not, I don't find it appropriate to talk about my own situation. No, and I'm not fucking scared. Everyone can suck my dick. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be talking about Israel all the goddamn time. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be talking shit about this administration. There's a lot more money to fucking make sitting around and talking about how apolitical and how centrist I am, and then glaze everything that the Trump administration is doing. Plenty of people do exactly that. Okay? You were born here. What is the chat saying? Yeah, there's also that too. Yeah. Even if there was more threats being made that against me that I don't voluntarily reveal to you, because that's just background noise, that still has not shaken my confidence and has not changed my commentary. Okay? And it's not from, this platform in general. I'm not talking about being potentially deplatformed.
Suspect that explains that, and they said that it happened immediately after he filed a petition for a release, given that he is a green card holder, given that he has not been charged or convicted with any crimes, and they feel like that might have been retaliatory or perhaps seeking a more friendly jurisdiction. So far, the Department of Homeland Security has talked about his activities, or called his activities, as aligned to Hamas, which of course is designed a terrorist organization. So what they're saying is his activities on campus. I have been trying to find, and there have been many publications of and videos of his activities, and I haven't heard or seen. And I've
even if he did, like, that's what's also fucking insane. Even if he was like, Hamas is awesome and I love those guys, you think it's appropriate to fucking revoke the green card of a legal permanent resident? Like, what the fuck are we talking about, dude? What are we talking about? That's ridiculous. It's completely fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. And I'll tell you the inverse of this that is not happening. You know who is unironically running around with a green card, harassing students, and actually violating the law openly in broad daylight? Shy fucking Davide. That motherfucker has a green card too. He's an Israeli citizen with a green card, okay? And he also happened to have all of his wishes be addressed by the Department of Homeland Security. Shy David is a green card holder. He has actually openly and actively violated the law. He has harassed a bunch of women of color, students. Is he getting fucking deported? No. Get the fuck out of here. You got a serial stalker and harasser who is routinely trying to dox people and routinely going after students as a person with power inside of this goddamn, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal, holy. Wait, what? It's not that big of a deal that the Trump administration... Wait, first of all, from the fact that you just said holy, I suspect that you are a dumbass fucking Bonercelli sex pestiny orbiter, okay? Oh, holy, it's not that big of a deal. I thought you guys hated Donald Trump. Now you like Donald Trump because he's going after fucking... I unban you. You can respond to it. Now you like Donald Trump because he's going after fucking student activists that are pro-Palestine? Is that what's going on? What happened? What happened to your fucking political convictions? You think this administration is not eventually going to come after your fucking loser ass too? Refresh and ban. That was the most easy rage bait ever. Sick, dude. That's crazy. Man. Your favorite content creator had to hire Prince Andrew and Danny Masterson's lawyers to go after credible accusers that have been victimized by him. And you're over here in here fucking going, I just did la rage bait. Not realizing that, like, this shit will inevitably come back to you as well, okay? If you think this is a good thing, you are out of your fucking mind. If you think that this is not going to inevitably impact you, you are the dumbest person on the fucking planet. La rage bait. I shit my pants and now everyone says I'm stinky. What a funny rage bait that I engaged in. I've made a fool of myself. Like, we're over here talking about a fascist administration blackbagging someone for the crime of protesting against a foreign nation. And you're over here being like, no, it's la rage bait time. La Reddit meme. Ugh. Anyway, Trump administration actively is going to be setting up fucking death camps, and these guys will still be trying to get an own on their sex pest content creators, like least favorite content creator. We did it. I'm on my way to the death camps right now, but at least I epically owned this person. Anyway, here's a funny thing that happened. Donald Trump literally doing a QVC ad for Tesla. It has the Tesla pricing on his fucking notes, dude. How crazy. There is zero tolerance for acts of vandalism against Tesla. Ro Khanna, quote, retweeted, end wokeness. Oh my God, the Democrats are, I can't imagine how much lower they can be than the position that they're in currently. There is zero tolerance for acts of vandalism against Tesla. Spraying the words Nazi cars or lighting fire to a dealership and charges is wrong, period. All Democrats should condemn it. Like, what you choose to focus your time and effort on matters, okay? Like, obviously, my expectation is not for a Democratic congressperson to be like, it's awesome to burn Teslas. Like, obviously, they're not going to say that. But there's no reason for you to take ownership over this and then, go out to be like, oh, it's really messed up. Like, yeah, we get it, dude. It's obviously fucking illegal. Like, why are you even spending any time talking about this? For what it's worth, some of those photos aren't even from the United States. That account isn't really a level actor. Yeah, this is what the Democrats should be doing. Ugly ass truck. I hate this. They have nothing. They have nothing to... They have no dog in this. They just have no dog in them. They have no interest in fighting back. There's nothing. They just constantly turn around and get owned by the stupid ass. They constantly turn around and get owned by the dumbest people on the fucking planet, the Republican Party. as they actively make things worse for everyone.
Asked people who protested with him, colleagues, any addresses to support Hamas or any kind of crime where they show that he's tied to Hamas. We're still waiting to hear from the government what exactly it is that they're alleging, because if it is just the act of protesting, what I've heard from multiple faculty members and students is that this was actually a person who wasn't leading the protest, but was actually a negotiator between the administration.
As in, he was the guy that the administration talked to. Obviously, the administration knows better than anybody else. If they had any reasonable grounds to, like, kick him out of the school, they would have fucking taken it. They specifically went after someone with a completely clear reputation, okay? That is deliberate. It is just as deliberate as, like, the ADL, for example, not spending any fucking time on the likes of Candace Owens or Dan Bilzerian, but coming after someone like myself. The reason why they do that is because that is the person that they're actually afraid of the most. A person that is not anti-Semitic, but anti-Zionist. That's it. And the reason why they're doing this is because, listen, we're taking out dudes from this country and revoking their citizenship even if they haven't done anything anti-Semitic, which still would have been ridiculous if he had done something anti-Semitic, and having them revoke their citizenship is psychotic, okay? Deportation is an inherently violent act. The crime has to match the violence that they are subjected to. The punishment has to fit the crime. You can't just be like, I don't like what you're saying, you're done. That's fucking Nazi shit.
And the student protesters. And so it seems like his role was actually in trying to keep the peace, not inflaming the discourse.
So on one hand, the Constitution of the United States under the First Amendment protects freedom of speech, even for people who protest the government's actions. But in the past, there have been instances of cases that have gone to the Supreme Court where prosecutors, federal prosecutors, have argued that people who are, for example, communists or people who are anarchists and who are not American citizens, but who are here legally in the country, have been deported over those activities. But as you state,
yeah, that's also insane, by the way. The fuck do you mean? By the way, not for Nazis. He's not wrong. It is in the law. If you have taken a citizenship test or whatever, or if you've actually filed any fucking forms for immigration paperwork, yes, the American government still to this goddamn day, it's way before the Patriot Act, by the way, the American government still to this day will ask you if you have ever maintained any sympathies towards communism. Yeah. It's a McCarthyist remnant. It's a McCarthyist relic. Communist Control Act of 1954. For those of you who don't fucking know, this is why I always say freedom of speech only goes in one direction. Yeah. The Communist Control Act is an American law signed by President Dwight Eisenhower that outlaws the Communist Party of the United States and criminalizes membership in or support of the party of the or communist action organizations, defines evidence to be considered by a jury in determining participation in the activities, planning actions, objectives, and purposes of such organizations. If you want to understand why the American people are so fucking reactionary and so insanely fucking anti-communist, this is the reason. The government has been against communism in ways that they would never be against Nazis in perpetuity. Okay? Yeah. Emma Goldman was a Lithuanian-born anarchist revolutionary, political activist, and writer. She played a pivotal role in the development of anarchist political philosophy in North America and Europe in the first half of the 20th century. Here, where is it? Feminism, sexuality, state, capitalism, and labor. As the events preceding World War II began to unfold in Europe, Goldman reiterated her position to wars waged by governments. Much as I loathe Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, Franco, she wrote, I would not support a war against some of the democracies in which last analysis, typical anarchist, by the way. Oh, where the fuck? Sacco and Vanzetti is another example. Yeah. Goldman found it difficult to acclimate to the German leftist community in Berlin. Communists despised their outspokenness about Soviet repression. Typical anarchist. But where the fuck is it? Yeah. Deportation hearing in October 27, 1919. Goldman refused to answer questions about her beliefs on the grounds that her American citizenship invalidated any attempt to deport her under the Anarchist Exclusion Act, which could be enforced only against non-citizens of the U.S. She presented a written statement instead. Today, so-called aliens are deported. Tomorrow, Native Americans will be banished. Already, some patrioteers are suggesting that Native American sons to whom democracy is a sacred ideal should be exiled. Goldman and Berkman were released from prison during the United States Red Scare of 1919 to 1920, when public anxiety about wartime pro-German activities had expanded into the pervasive fear of Bolshevism and the prospect of an imminent radical revolution. Now, I don't agree with all of her perspectives. She is an anarchist after all. Having said that, I think like deportation is fucking insane. Understand that America has always had an anti-communist, anti-Bolshevik attitude. America has always been actively and openly anti-communist, anti-anarchist. But in the second Red Scare era, this came down. The Communist Control Act of 1954. Created during the period of the Second Red Scare, the act was one of many bills drafted with the intention of protecting the American government from the threat allegedly posed by international communists. During this time, some argued that the pursuit of subversive aims, even by peaceful means, should have been outlawed. Thus, many opposed communism because of its explicitly declared and historically demonstrable goal to undermine liberal democracy. In the words of Ernest von Den Haag, there was no place in democracy for those who want to abolish it, even with a peaceful vote. The Communist Control Act was originally proposed as an amendment to the Internal Security Act of 1950, which is sought to combat the spread of communism in labor unions. Apart from its secondary focus, which it's still to this day illegal. It is still to this day illegal for a labor union leader to be a out and about communist. Apart from its secondary focus, which concentrated on the illegality of communist front organizations, i.e. labor unions, the bill was drafted with the intention of tackling the root of pro-communist sentiment in the United States, the Communist Party. In its second section, the CCA of 1954 portrayed the Communist Party as an agency of a hostile foreign power. The party was described as an instrumentality of a conspiracy to overthrow the government and as a clear present continuing danger to the security of the United States. Incredible stuff. The act made membership of the Communist Party a criminal act and stipulated that all party members would be sanctioned with up to $10,000 in fines or imprisonment for 5 years or both if they failed to register with the U.S. Attorney General as such. Additionally, according to the third section, the Communist Party would be deprived of the rights, privileges, and immunities of a legal body. Do U.S. citizens not learn about McCarthyism? I actually don't know if they do. I don't know. But if you're wondering why even leftists, even card-carrying leftists who consider themselves to be radicals, for example, oftentimes have incredibly reactionary takes, this is the reason why. Because American politics has always been insanely anti-communist. If you are an anti-capitalist of any sort, you are an enemy, okay? That is the way that it's always been presented, and political persecution has happened consistently against any kind of revolutionary figure in this nation. The first Red Scare, the one no one remembers, created J. Edgar Hoover when Attorney General Palmer rounded up and deported every immigrant they could tie to leftism. Like Nixon, Palmer used it to violently separate leftists and black Americans. 1919 was the nadir of U.S. relations. If you want to understand why America doesn't have any sort of like revolutionary sentiment or any sort of class consciousness, it is because of the consistent attacks against any sort of display of communism in this fucking country. Okay? First, they make it illegal. Then you slowly but surely stamp it out over many, many years. And at a certain point, you don't even have to actively use this law that exists because people do it. People do it themselves. On that note, let's get to the YouTubers who backed the genocide by Noah Samson.
Damn, this guy's good.